tailgate show, the tailgate show. And you say Shot City, the tailgate show, the tailgate show, the tailgate show. And you say Shot City, the tailgate show, the tailgate show, the tailgate show. And you say Shot City, the tailgate show, the tailgate show, the tailgate show. And you say Shot City, the tailgate show, the tailgate show, the tailgate show. And you say Shot City, the tailgate show, the tailgate show, the tailgate show.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of The Tailgate Show, the hottest podcast about the Bears on the planet.
I like your hat tonight, man.
Nice. Nice
Looking
intro
fresh.
there.
No, I'm fucking around.
The hottest.
Dude.
So hot.
Yeah. We got a 4-day weekend coming up, so I'm treating this like a Friday night, fellas.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
shit.
So anyway, man, so the
Has
off
Delta
season,
touchdown.
we're barely like toe deep in the water of the off season, especially on like the Bears Twitter vibe. Man, we are like as far
Coming
as
out
time,
with-
but like
Coming
we're, like,
out with
up
the
to our
Rex
neck
Ryan
in it.
jokes early.
We're up to our neck in it already, man. Like it came fast and furious, right? Like
Yeah.
Right?
the news cycle's been intense, and then you're seeing these other teams open up that you didn't think were going to be potential suitors for head coaches. So it's like,
Houston Texans, you fucks.
Yeah.
I'm
Giants and Texans both late to the party.
yeah, because everybody thought the Giants were going to, Judge was just starting out there basically. So you figured he was going to get maybe another year or so,
What a blow to special teams coordinators everywhere. Looked like a debacle in New York.
It was.
I mean, it was the situation.
There's talent
wasn't-
issues there.
Yeah, but you're not QB sneaking on 3rd and 9 from the fucking.
You are if you're the Giants. You
I'll
can't
tell you
block.
what, though, like
terrible.
the Giants also had Saquon. When Saquon was healthy, he was that dominant to like make things around him look a little better than they were. He was incredible when he first came out.
Yeah.
Injury after the injury, it just hasn't been the same, and they ate off that, kind of like we ate off Howard. Like Howard, the way he was playing when he was here, it's just kind of the same. You have a running back you can lean on like that. It kind of covers up some bullshit. Especially Saquon's way more elite though. He's way more explosive. Do you know what I mean? Like he was pretty
He
dominant.
was. Yes, he was.
So-
yeah.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. He's not
Yeah.
now. So like
No.
that situation Judge walked into wasn't super great to begin with, and Gettleman. I mean, he
Terrible.
is terrible.
But
So,
you also saw them pay like a lot of money to Kenny Galladay for 0 touchdowns and essentially no production. I mean, I think you can make the argument, did he get the most value out of that roster? Probably not, but it wasn't,
No.
to your point, it wasn't a very stocked roster to begin with either. It was a shitty situation.
it's an
Good
uphill-
old Mia Corsi.
Well, no, first
True. Good point, Jer.
A first time head coach though trying to do that is a big ask when you don't have
Yeah.
a good GM.
Nope.
I don't know. I think like if with the guys we're talking about getting, I think it's great that he got fired because he is a good special teams coach, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, he could make somebody's staff very good.
So the biggest problem, and yes, I've been a big advocate of getting Josh McDaniels here. Don't know if it's realistic. We saw the presser. Me and you interpreted it 2 different ways, right? Who the hell
Yeah.
knows? But like, if you get him, or we're all very high on Flores.
Yeah.
They're intense, man. You heard the stories coming out of Miami with Flores because they demand 100% of the time. Like he was
Yep.
calling guys at 10 o'clock saying, "Get to the office." This dude,
Yeah.
like they don't stop. They're just dialed in, man. You know what I mean? When it's game, when
Yeah.
it's they're very prepared, and it's all these people that were former Patriot coaches are finally opening up. Normally, when you leave Bill, you don't bring Bill guys with you.
Yeah.
But you got names like O'Brien out there who could be. Yes, he was a total.
Again.
He was a disaster in Houston at the end, but he's a good offensive coordinator,
Yeah.
right? So I know he's not perfect, man, but I'm saying
No, he's not. I mean,
fix-
Alabama
fix-
struggled just the other night, but I still agree with you. I think he is a good play caller overall.
Well, Judge at special teams. So you're getting these former Patriots that they can actually build a staff of people that are used to being around that environment of intensity.
Yeah, you need strong-willed coaches. You'd put that in the thread earlier
Flores.
this week. It was a good point.
Well, Flores had a lot of issues. He was replacing a lot of like offensive line coaches and offensive coordinators in a short span of time because they were getting burnt out.
Yeah,
Here's the problem. You're talking about Flores and all that, right?
I'm talking about how Flores and McDaniels are built the same way. They're hardcore.
Right. Well, I was just kind of looking at the Dolphins' schedule. They won 8-9, right?
Mm-hmm.
yep.
To end the season. So they, let's see. They beat the Patriots on a week 18 where, I don't know, I guess
Jared,
the Patriots were kind of going for it.
Jer, he's beat the Patriots 3 out of 4 times.
Yeah.
Okay.
That is true.
Lost to the Titans 34-3. Beat a Saints team that's marginal at best. Barely beat the Jets, beat the Giants, beat the Panthers, beat the Jets again, and then beat a depleted Ravens team on Thursday night. And then beat the Texans. So it's not exactly a murderer's row of teams.
Well, here's one for you, just to put things into perspective.
Okay.
Think about Miami's roster. They went on a winning streak that was more wins than we had all season.
Yeah, that's true. I mean,
yeah.
Oh, there we go. South Elgin bringing it 4-2 versus the Patriots.
I thought he was
damn good.
I thought he was 3 out of 4.
Well, he was there for 3 years, so he at least had.
Was it? Oh, was it 3 years? Okay.
Yeah, it was 3 years.
Right.
Yeah.
4-2 versus, I mean, the Cam Newton Patriots. Yuck. I mean,
it's Bill.
Buyer beware.
It's bigger than that though, because it's Belichick and one of his disciples.
True.
To outsmart Bill.
Bill usually owns them.
Year.
Yeah, I just it's a mental game too when you're playing Belichick and you've worked for him.
Sure.
So, I don't know, man. I personally, out of the names that have been mentioned, Flores is definitely my top guy. Like I said, some of the names.
Well, I think it's also because we see this team has a lack of discipline too at times. You know, small things that, guys touching people down whenever they catch a ball and hit the ground untouched.
Right.
I don't think you would have those problems with a guy like Flores. I mean, I'm pretty sure it'd be rushing all the way,
You got to think like what would Belichick do in those situations? That's how.
Oh God.
That's how these guys are wired. You don't touch the guy down, you're out of the game.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like,
he's also young and he's not a retread. Like, I don't want a retread head coach like Dan Quinn.
Retread?
I call it retread. For very specific reasons, but I'll leave that in the thread.
I'm not gonna be a big mental red pen on you guys, so let's just keep going with it. However you want to say it.
I say retread.
Okay.
We're all from different areas in the
knowing's
country.
half the battle.
Say it there.
So out of the names mentioned, Leslie Frazier, Doug Peterson, Brian Dable, Nathaniel Hackett, Todd Bowles, Byron Leftwich, Matt Eberflus, Dan Quinn, Brian Flores. Any other names on that list jump out to you as a top 3?
Eberflus is interesting.
Why?
That Colts defense isn't bad, and they didn't have a whole lot in the back end. You can see a guy like Roquan really flourishing in that scheme.
Yeah. I like Eberflus too, actually.
I mean, he's interesting. I'll give him that.
Obviously, Jonathan Taylor was a big piece to their season, even though it ended disappointing fashion. But that defense kept them in pretty much every game they were in, and
they have been for a while. You think about the times we've played the Colts a couple of times since then, and
yeah.
You think it's gonna be like a copycat situation, like with Staley or something, where you just get the young coordinator?
I don't know.
The young defensive coordinator brings the fire. Like I kind of get where you're going. I don't know. And I know Flores is on more of the defensive side of things too.
Well, good.
That's where your money's at.
How do you feel about Dan Quinn What does Dan Quinn do for you?
Another defensive coach, and I just think where we're at defensively, like we don't necessarily need a defensive head coach because you just need a good defensive coordinator. Do you know what I mean? Like they're
Well,
that good.
I think the same thing could be said about offense, though. I mean, you've seen head coaches with a defensive background have consistent success on offense. So I think after the Matt Nagy experience, I think we all kind of talked about the fact that you don't need to really have an offensive centric. Doesn't necessarily have to be defensive either. You just have to have the right coach. So I really don't have a preference for what side of the ball they come from.
I guess, and it's more emphasized that you know what these head coach candidates do offensively because they're
Correct.
at that level. We don't really know who the available names are of the staff they would put together and to get their background right now because those things don't really pop up until things get real hot. So
does that concern you about Flores? You know, four OCs in Miami.
A lot of defensive coaches struggle to find the OC. That's what I mean.
Lovey was the same way.
We can't afford that. That's why I'm leaning more towards the side of offense because even though with Flores, I do like him, but I think he could get a top OC in that can work with him. But you just don't want too many offensive coordinators for Justin. That's going to fuck him up.
Yeah, it's true.
You can't flip flop on him. Like there needs to be some
Cutler
consistency.
syndrome.
Right.
Yeah.
It would be the same deal. The kid has all the talent in the world, and Polian feels like he needs to work on his timing, which we heard that little snippet where the game Jared brought up against Indiana and the game against Northwestern is what Polian brought up. But Polian's been off on shit too. There's no perfect science to this. So, but
Lamar, looking at you, Lamar.
And the only reason that, like, I know we still think Josh is in that Harbaugh realm where Josh McDaniels, Harbaugh, they're not. It'd be great, right? But they might not be available. So I just think, and that's another thing. Sorry, Jared. If Josh became available, we already have a head start because Polian picked him in Indy when he was consulted there. That was his guy. So the research on him is deep for Polian. We also interviewed him when we hired Nagy. So McCaskey has a background on him too. So we're pretty prepped that if he becomes free, we could move quick.
Does the Indianapolis situation impact that relationship with Polian and a recommendation?
As a consultant, it really, if he's professional, it's not supposed to. You're working for your best interest of the client, like that.
Right.
That really can't come into play. I mean, if as an owner, and I don't think McCaskey's smart enough to do this, I would say, why are you keeping me away from this guy when this is the guy you picked last time?
Well, I think you also learned today that, agents are the ones putting out the names, correct? Not necessarily what's going on. Right,
but Trace Armstrong is his agent.
Well, you may not need to put that out there, you know what I'm saying? Might be your dark horse. We had a dark horse situation today on the GM side, in-house.
Or Josh could have told him I want a certain team. He's at that level, honestly, where if he becomes available, whatever's available, he can pretty much pick.
Well, see, that's the other side of the coin too. Is not only the Polian situation as the consultant, but would Josh want to come here? It just seems like he's a guy that's smart enough to know to stay away from the clown show.
Well, I guess it depends on who you ask, because John's asked some people they talked about on ESPN 1000 today that John's asked some people, and it's a very desirable job. And then Dan Durkin earlier in the day said that it's kind of
Brad
hit and miss. How many cornerstone pieces do you have in the franchise? The number, they tried to set the magic number at 10, and I started thinking about it. It's like, do we have 10 guys?
Did Durkin really copy Biggs? Because Biggs was on Mully and Haw, and he did.
Or he may have quoted him or whatever.
Oh, okay. He did this. He reached out to everybody he knew in the league and did a survey.
Right. And I think everybody's kind of feeling around.
The Bears weren't high on the list there, so you're getting different takes. But Josh was also the first workout for Justin, or one of the workouts for Justin. Right. There's only 2 teams that showed up, and Josh McDaniels was there.
Who was the other one?
Probably Shanahan.
Well, Matt Nagy was creeping.
The second time.
You're talking about the first time.
I remember when they're putting him through all that bullshit and they made him work out twice.
Yeah.
Right.
I guess my
Correct.
whole thing is he's sitting in New England. It's pretty much known, not unknown, that he's going to be the heir apparent to Belichick. If
Yeah, and
Belichick
that's-
decides to step down,
That doesn't mean he likes Justin. He was there though.
true. I'm
Right.
just saying, if he's in New England, he's in a comfortable situation. He likely has been given assurances that if he wants to stay there, he'll take over the keys to that car when Belichick's ready to step aside. You've already seen the hesitancy that he took by not going to Indianapolis. I really think if he is going to leave, it's going to take the perfect situation. I just don't know if that is here.
Well,
Unless, as you alluded to, he's that enthralled with Justin.
Well, if you hire him first, you kind of give him carte blanche. Say, all right, we need a GM. Who would you recommend?
that's how that type of personality works, though.
Right. And then who do you
Well.
think he would bring in?
Elliot Wolf.
So you
Probably.
team those two together, who already
Elliot-
have a working relationship.
If you feel like he's the
That kind of
coach-
makes sense.
I'm not saying he is the coach. I'm saying even if you got Flores in here, they're going to want some input on that level. They are. He
absolutely.
had that struggle in Miami.
Dan Quinn too. You think about Dan Quinn. This is a guy that went to the Super Bowl.
Ooh, I don't know if I want Dan Quinn having that much say over who the next GM is.
No, I want the opportunity.
I think
We
Jared
have-
might be correct that might be the situation. Just for me personally, I would not
Wouldn't it be nice to watch
go for that.
a fairly young head coach that could be our coach for like Justin's whole
Yes.
career if he blossoms, like a Tomlin
Yes.
situation where you have a 15-year head coach that is just that dude. Like that, I'd rather have the opportunity for that than a guy like a retread like Quinn.
Retreat, yeah.
However you want to say it, bro. I'm not trying to fire at people tonight. I'm not there.
That's all right.
You said it. You're treating this like a Friday night. Now you don't want to fire on people.
Not for how you talk, man. I
Dude,
can't.
I'm just, I don't fucking care. All right, so going down the line here, what about Byron Leftwich? What are y'all's feelings on Byron?
I have a hard time taking anything
Not
from
even.
Tom Brady
I'm not
because
even-
Tom Brady's the real OC. Just like Peyton Manning was, the real offensive coordinator is the quarterback.
Yep.
Again, Brady's from that Patriot thing too, right? He's a hothead. He's probably tough to deal with, but he's an assassin, right? These guys
Yep.
are just wired that way. You can't have a real dominant personality that he's not used to. So I don't know how much of it's Brady, how much of it's Leftwich. Like I think Brady tells him what he wants to do. It's Tom freaking Brady, man. Like it's the same thing when Gase had Manning. He ate off that for years. You know what I mean? So great. It's Tom Brady. Like Arians is also a very smart offensive mind, man. And Leftwich was one of his players in Pittsburgh. So you try to put your own guys on and raise them up. And I'm sure he's a good football coach, but like with a Hall of Fame quarterback, it's a tough evaluation. Like when you compare him
Right.
to some of the other guys on the list, he may be a great coach. The NFL coaches would know way more than we do in that community. We're just fans looking on the outside looking in. There's a reason he's being put out there, but like, it's Tom Brady, man.
Yeah.
I think
And
he
Bruce
think-
Arians. I don't think that can be discounted either.
Yeah, that's
well,
a
that's
point.
what I'm
That's
saying.
a good point.
He's an offensive coach, a smart
Yep.
one at that. So I don't know. I don't know. I'm not interested personally.
Right. I think we're all in that same category. Who else you got there, Biscuits?
Kellen Moore. Go down the line.
Nah,
I'm sorry, not
same
Kellen
thing.
Moore. Brian Dable. I'm sorry, not Kellen Moore. Brian Dable. Kellen Moore has not been officially requested yet.
Not by us. I think he
Not
has
by
by
us.
one. Yeah, by one
not
team,
by
but
us. So
it's
Brian
Dak
Dable.
Prescott. Oh, we're not talking about one.
Well, no. Let's talk about Kellen Moore because I think it's pretty much the same argument
as Leftwich.
as Leftwich. Yeah, 100%.
Right.
I mean, they've got three
Mike
really.
McCarthy's an offensive mind.
Mike McCarthy,
Sure.
CeeDee Lamb, Mari Cooper, Dalton Schultz, Ezekiel Elliott, a decent, at least a better line than what we have here. It's just a lot of pieces to work with, and I don't think he has enough experience for me outside of there.
Dalton
for
looked
me
better
to-
there than he did here.
He
So,
did. Yeah, he did. He did. But how much of that is personnel, though, too?
Absolutely.
You know?
Personnel makes a difference.
Sure
Well, that's what I'm
does.
saying. So
Thanks,
now
Ryan.
that's what I'm trying to say, basically.
Yeah.
Put Kellen Moore with our talent.
Yeah. No, I'm good
No.
on that.
And I'm not talking about Justin because he's still the great unknown, ultimately, right?
Yeah.
Right.
No, it's what's around him.
Exactly. We saw Dalton in it. It should have been way better than it was.
I mean, realistically, moving forward, you got Mooney, Herbert, and Montgomery.
Well, let's say if you can get to 10 cornerstone pieces on this franchise, can you? So you
One
went
off season? No.
No, I'm saying, are there 10 guys on this roster right now that you
Oh.
could sell to a GM? It's like, hey, we've got these 10 players.
Yeah.
I think we could come up with 10.
Our offensive
let's try
MVP for the season, because we never did our end of the season awards. Cairo
Oh,
Santos.
Kairos MVP.
Carlos, you're the man.
Sure as
Kairos.
fuck's not Pat O'Donnell. Can we upgrade our punter this offseason? That's
Let's
how
cut
desperate I am.
the.
No, I got to give him a break. That he punted, bro.
Dude, I mean, yeah, of course he punted, but
$4 million worth of punting, if I'm not mistaken.
for a team that punts so often like us, I feel like we should really have an elite punter again.
$4 million
Just saying.
biscuits. He's complaining about a $4 million contract.
When everybody else is cheaper, yeah, I can see that.
It's not that much, man.
I mean, it's not that much, but does that salary
adds up.
match a average to slightly below average punter? Probably
I don't know.
not.
Now we're talking cap.
He looks good in a
and I don't have-
tuxedo.
I don't have the numbers in front of me of what the cap hit would be. You know what I mean? And your only solution.
Well, let me
Jerry,
tell you,
is-
sir, I've taken a deep dive into the punter market.
Okay. But in the
Right.
punter market, you're going to
Think
overpay, and you're going to be in the same. You're going to be in the same boat. So, if, say there's a $1 million cap hit, you get rid of him. You bring in a $3 million punter. That better be better than him, right?
Oh yeah, well that
You're in the same boat.
Well, surely he'll punt faster.
So I'm just saying,
Can't
Jerry,
punt any slower in motion.
the cost savings for getting rid of him is not free agency. You would have to either bring now you're going to have a punter
A draft.
competition.
Bring a
with
free
with
agent.
some young undrafted free agents.
No.
I don't think you're looking to move on from Pat O'Donnell from a salary cap standpoint. I think it's purely just from a performance standpoint. I don't think
Right.
you're cutting him
Okay.
looking to save a ton and make another move somewhere else.
So you've
That's
okay.
punting
We've not
cost.
established.
I don't know that he was punting a lot from piss poor field position.
Yeah, but he gets no hang time on his punts at all. That's my issue
right.
with him.
And that's punter talk.
Sorry, I'm just saying. All right,
10
let's go.
players.
Let's
Come up
get
with
some
10 players.
Biscuits.
No.
He was going to be one of my 10. That's why I'm kind of pissed off because like
Pat O'Donnell, dude. All right,
Bro,
if Pat
10?
O'Donnell's one of your 10, then we do
10?
not have 10.
10. Think about it.
Okay, so let's go down the line on offense.
Jared's
Okay.
talking cornerstones, bro.
Okay, all right. Is Darnell Mooney a piece you can build with? I'd say yes.
Yes.
Okay.
David
I'll give you that one.
Montgomery, which I think it's a more interesting conversation than just a flat out yes.
I was going to bring up all the names you're bringing up. I'm just going through the whole thing in my head.
Okay, so David Montgomery, if you decide to pay him, can be a building block. Khalil
Well,
Herbert.
Yes. That's you compare those two.
Khalil Herbert as a building block is a little bit of a stretch. I think he's a
Well,
nice backup.
For sure, but if you decide to not pay Monty and let him walk, are you comfortable letting Herbert slide into that starting role and then drafting somebody else in the 3rd through 5th round to back him up?
Not yet.
Correct.
You
That's
just called
correct.
Monty a cornerstone. You can't call his backup one.
No, but I guess cornerstone and a piece, I guess, are just two different things. Then maybe
Right.
I'm looking at it in terms of pieces.
That's why I'm going punter.
10
and kicker.
guys you can sell a GM and a coach.
I'm
10
going
guys.
punter and
Well,
kicker
you're not, of
biscuits.
course, you're not selling anybody on 6th-round pick
Biscuits.
Khalil Herbert. No,
I'm going punter and kicker because they have nobody else there. We need the guys we have. That's all I'm saying. Like, so I'm going through cornerstone, and it's sad because it's hard to come up with 10 names that are, like I said, not backups, but the guys that are gonna.
so
you
from
can build
10
on going
pieces.
forward.
Okay,
Okay.
let's change the criteria. 10 pieces you can sell a GM and a coach on. Not necessarily a cornerstone that you feel like they're
Potential, That's
excited.
a whole different thing. Now Khalil Herbert
Right.
can talk. Do you know what I mean?
Okay,
think
let's
the
go
best-
that route.
I think, the
And even that, it's
cornerstone
going to
might
be
fair.
challenging to get to 10.
No, it's not.
All right, so you got Mooney, David Montgomery, Herbert.
Yep.
Komet.
I say no as of right now. Does he have a chance to turn it around? Yes. But
I would say Jesper if you're talking potential.
oh,
I've seen more potential out of
are
him.
you selling a candidate on hey
No,
come
no,
here
no.
because of
But what I'm
Jesper
saying,
Horsted?
what I'm saying is, I like Komet, right? I'm a Notre Dame fan, but I'm saying Jesper is more of a
He's been in
has
the
shown
end
more.
zone more.
Yeah, so you say his upside is a little bit better.
He's shown more potential to me.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's what I'm
So
saying.
there's four.
I'm not calling him a cornerstone. I'm saying Jesper. I wouldn't call Komet one at all. Is
So,
the guy
so
that
then we're still on 3 then. Borum and Jenkins. Jenkins,
that-
you,
you know,
Jenkins,
actually,
you really
I'm-
just don't know.
You know what? I'm putting Komet in there because it's
I mean, I guess if you're gonna pair a receiving tight end with him, maybe like a Jesper Horsted with him, maybe it ends up working, and maybe the next coach gets a little bit more out of him.
a decent offensive mind would get more out of him.
Yeah.
Hey, you know, you think about the Patriot way. Now, this is before Gronk had to have a guy with him at first, and it was Hernandez before he lost his mind.
No,
Aaron
Jared,
Hernandez was a.
They still run 2 tight end sets.
Oh, I know, but
Yeah, Johnny Smith and Hunter
you
Henry.
think about
Yeah.
it though. To think about it in terms people can visualize,
I am.
Gronk and Hernandez were a fucking
force.
really efficient force.
Komet and Jesper could be.
If you
Aaron
get it right
Hernandez, though, man, you know,
before he
character,
flipped,
yeah,
right.
character withstanding, that dude could have started for a lot of other teams.
right?
I mean,
I'm
those.
just saying, there's
Bro, they drafted them both in the same draft.
Yeah.
Yep. back to back. Bam.
He's-
It's
Yeah.
done.
Bill's like, I'm going 2 tight end. I got 1 athletic one and 1 beast. Let's go.
Yeah.
And that makes life very, very easy for a quarterback when you have 2 like that.
2, and you decide to run him up the seam every once in a while.
And that's why at first it was hard for me to give Brady credit because Bill is very smart, and Josh was there too. Even the dink and dunk stuff, but it worked. Brady was willing to work with what worked, but when he started showing that he could just start, like it was a different beast. You know what I mean? That's
Right.
when he
He's
was
the
just,
best. He can do it all.
he was dialing in for what worked.
So we got to 4, correct?
Yeah, it's fair. If we're counting Komet, I guess. So Daniels, Jenkins,
Well, that offensive
Borum,
line's a tough swell. It's
White
tough as
hair.
hell.
Whitehair probably not because he's getting older and
Maybe
plays declining.
maybe Jenkins and Borum, if you
Borum-
like them in the draft process.
Right. So that'd be all for offense, right? We'll just cut it off
Yeah,
there.
for sure. So defense, you got Roquan,
Hmm.
Jalen Johnson.
Justin, man,
Oh yeah,
Justin, obviously.
Jesus Christ, how
Biggest.
the hell did we miss that?
the biggest.
Yeah, yeah.
It has to be, right?
No, for
Right.
sure it
It
has to
better
be
be.
because anyone coming here that's the unfortunate thing, and it's not that I don't believe in Justin anymore. I do, but it just would be nice for once to have a head coach and a general manager coming in together and then them work in the process of selecting their own quarterback.
Right.
Seems like we never get that timing completely right. I'm not saying it's a negative against Justin. I'm not saying he's not an attractive quarterback to bring qualified candidates here. I'm just under perfect circumstances. That's what you would want. But no doubt,
Yeah.
anyone coming here, they're going to work with him.
Right, and Roquan, I think, is a big piece too.
Yeah.
But like beyond that, it's veterans that need to stay healthy.
Oh, Jalen
Yeah.
too. Jalen and Roquan.
Jalen.
Yeah.
And then
Jared,
it gets dicey.
Jared, go ahead. Go ahead and slide your board. No?
No. Not as
He's only back next year, I think, on
From a-
$4 million. Pretty
from a
good
fan-
deal.
cheap.
Pretty
from
good
a fan,
value.
There's guys I'm excited about that I haven't even got any freaking pop yet.
Right.
So, but I'm not. I'm also a hardcore.
He just
fan, not
hasn't
a
had
coach.
his chance yet, did he?
He's not lying, bro. He's not.
He hasn't got
joking
his
around.
opportunity.
No, that's bullshit.
He's waiting to bust out.
I don't know about all that. I hope so.
I went full Iggy there.
Yeah,
Had
he
to.
did.
But
I wish him
after
well.
that, it gets scarce quick.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's we're an aging defense.
So Eddie, let's address that. Is Eddie a cornerstone any longer? I think we can all agree that the
Is he still on the
impact or
team?
value does not match the contract. I think we can all agree on that.
It was a bad scouting job by Pace on his pro personnel side, right? Because
Yeah.
they have pro personnel that go over their own roster and other rosters in the league. You're evaluating your own roster, and to think that Eddie was the guy that you pay all the money, and you're putting yourself in a position where you have to let the guys that worked around him go.
Yeah, which Amos slotted in next to him just
It's
perfectly.
it's a system. Eddie's more of the ball hawk type. You need an enforcer back there with him.
Yep.
Amos
Absolutely.
and him were perfect together, man. You had
Yeah.
one physical dude and one ball hawk. You
So
stay away
can,
from
so can he
so
be
what
that cornerstone then?
so
If you
what
get to the
happens
position
is
right.
you stay away from the ball hawk, and when you do go to him, he's gonna hurt you. So you go to the enforcer side, and he ends up fucking your dudes up. It's a hard when somebody knows they're gonna get blasted. It's
Yeah,
you,
it changes
sometimes
things back there.
you're looking behind you. Sometimes it causes drops. Like Amos had a huge impact. It was the best tandem we had since Mike Brown and Chris Harris, probably.
Yeah, I think that's fair to say.
So how far did we get there? We got 8, 9.
No, so what I'm saying is
don't
Eddie's
think
hard
it
to
was 9.
evaluate.
Well-
If you could put more pieces around him and let him just do what he does, he might
Yeah.
not be worth the contract, but he'd be a lot better.
Well, I think to your point too about replacing them on the other side, and if they're forced to go to that side and it's not working like it was, that was the thing that we saw over the last 7 games. They weren't just throwing at Eddie anymore. So maybe if you had someone over there, you're forced to go back to Eddie's side. Maybe you see a few more of those impactful plays that we haven't seen since 2019.
Yeah, and I get it. There were times where Eddie showed lack of effort, and it pissed me off. He started for some weird reason, like the last 2 games, he decided to take it upon himself to start getting physical, which
Yeah.
I was surprised with. I figured he'd be fully cashed in by then.
Well,
But
good for him.
yeah, it
Good
is.
for him.
It is, man. I hope he comes. I hope he comes back to that form because we all loved him when he was balling.
The bottom line is that it's hard to find 10 guys.
Yeah.
It's harder than you think. So if you're going to sell that to a GM or coach, then
And you got to factor in. They have ideas from moving guys too. I'm sure.
yeah,
Because the salary
there's cap space, but that's what 30.
What did we come up with? 28 players they have to fill with like
28 players.
Yeah, it's
Yep.
44 million, and we have 28 players returning under contract, and then there's 4 additional players that are carrying dead cap hits who won't be with us.
Yeah,
Sure.
so the new GM.
Fuck you, Ryan Pace.
And that's Lombardi was on 670, and he nailed it. He was like, "It's cool that Polian's there. He's a good football mind, but like, if McCaskey doesn't really evaluate what went wrong and have a person in mind that's going to overcome that environment and what's going on and what went wrong and not make the same mistake in the hire,
Yeah.
he has to get in that mindset. And I hope Polian's put him in that position, because in this process, I don't care what he said in the presser. If Polian recommends, you have names on this list that could be VP of football operations.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Do you think they didn't mention that in
like Smith? Jared he's a veteran general manager, 11 years.
They didn't mention that in the presser. Do you think they could have a change of heart and be like, "Hey, we have the ability to put 2 of these guys"?
If I could talk to Bill Polian, bro, I'd be like, Bill, please recommend this if you feel that. Because if he can convince McCaskey to do that, like guys like Khan and Smith as VP,
Yeah.
and now that broadens who you could really bring in here. You can get a nice young GM if you want, because he has somebody up there that can guide him.
They seem
Well,
to resist
there.
that structure though in the press conference.
Well, there, young Diddy. Virginia seems to think I do a really good job.
Southern McCaskey.
See if he had the twang, man, he could get by with it, but he ain't got the twang.
No, it still doesn't sound good, man.
No, it's terrible.
No, either way, right? The real
he's not.
The real deal's terrible too.
Yeah,
You nailed it.
but I
That's what
mean,
I'm saying.
he's just who knows. Oh, thanks. The most backhanded compliment ever. You nailed it, you idiot.
It's about as good as you're going to get out of him, Jer.
Well,
No, I'm
saying,
just saying.
McCaskey sounds horrible, but so did your southern version of McCaskey, so you nailed it.
Right.
What time is it, Jer?
It's time to partake in the party, I guess.
Whoa, what does that entail?
I have
Cody?
no idea. No clue. But I was just saying, do you think
he's not where we are right now?
Jer was just like, "Are we done yet?
Yeah,
We're
just
done talking about these coaches and cornerstones."
He's like, "Must be nice, fellas. You both did an edible. I'm sitting here trying to stay up."
I made a bad life decision, boys.
Not taking the edible.
Do you think George would be open to that, even though he wasn't really open to it in his press conference?
Jer, all options are on the table. Okay.
It's a big fucking table, man.
I personally don't think that's the route they're going. I think he made it really. I mean, I guess you never say never. I guess things could change, but it just seemed like he made it clear in that press conference that the general manager is going to run the football operations. He went out of his way multiple times to defend that structure, even when the reporters were throwing shit at him. So I really don't think he's going to walk that back and all of a sudden change his mind and structure it any different, unfortunately.
Okay. But I was just saying, there's some pretty good GM names. They've done, they've interviewed 3 of them so far.
Yeah. So
in that current, who have we interviewed? Is what you're saying?
Yeah. I know we've interviewed 3, but
Adolfo Mensa, they interviewed. Glenn Cook, they interviewed. Jeff Ireland is tomorrow, and Rick Smith is done. Correct.
Champ Kelly's was done today.
Champ Kelly.
Yeah, I figured
that was a dark horse.
Not really.
I mean,
you promote your own guy.
Well, we had talked about it before, the Pace firing, but there was very, very little talk of it there for a while. And then, so like to Jer's point, it kind of just resurfaced. So yeah, they did the 2 Browns guys and they did Champ Kelly. Jeff Ireland is on Friday, as Diddy said. None of the other candidates have been announced on what day yet.
Champ's another unknown. We've heard good things about him. Just sorry.
Khalil evidently likes him.
And that's cool, but like, you want him hiring the next coach when he was watching Pace do it?
Good point.
Unless he has his own opinion about it, but
which he should have.
It just doesn't feel like change. I just want new faces. I don't know why.
I agree. From what I read today, Kelly was pretty instrumental in the Pace drafts. I would like to get as far away from the Ryan Pace philosophy as humanly possible. I
mean, he's going to bring his own spin on it. I don't know enough about him to really have him top on my list. I guess that's where I'm at. We've heard good things from an organization that we hear good things about from guys they draft.
Good point.
And late in the draft because they were missionaries and like they do full on videos of these guys. Like it's hard to know what's what coming out of Hallis.
Yeah, that's true. That's a good point.
True.
I got a question for you too. So speaking of Khalil Mack rooting on Champ Kelly, when we went over franchise cornerstones, that was a big name that none of us mentioned. And I think you have to mention the guy who just broke the franchise sack record, Robert Quinn. So I'll ask you two, do you think those 2 are pieces to move forward with?
In the short term, yes, but they're not long-term answers. They're short-term answers to a long-term problem. And I love Khalil. I love when he's healthy. He's great. But he's not healthy.
So putting cap considerations to the side, are you looking to potentially explore moving off of those 2?
They're beating on the door to 30. I'd say it's a possibility, yes.
Yeah, they're both 30, 31?
Yep. I think Khalil's like really close. I'm not sure.
It's tough, man.
Crazy to think that Khalil Mack is younger than me.
It's tough, but I think you have to keep one. because
you keep?
you want to remain competitive while if you make a move, if you get a GM in here that feels like, yeah, we need to unload max salary, we have to trade him. If that's how they're looking at it, or him or Quinn, right? We have to free up money.
Yeah.
So it may come down to that, but I think you keep one because you want to remain competitive. I mean, we're getting older. Eventually, it's gonna we're resetting everything, guys. You know what I mean? Like, this could be a year or two, or possibly 3. Unfortunately,
I think it's 2 to 3. South Elgin in the chat. Mac is 30. Thank you for that. Okay.
Quinn and Mac are very close in age.
They are very close. I think Roberts is maybe a tad bit older.
But having said that, man, look what Quinn did without Mac.
True, but from a realistic standpoint, contract-wise, unless Khalil's going to renegotiate something with the team that we would trade him to, I think the more realistic option to move on from after this.
Will Khalil be able to do that without Quinn?
No, I think he's proven that he hasn't.
There's your answer.
But
there's more to the game than sacks, too.
Correct. Yeah.
Well, here's some names for you. Here's some names for you after 30.
Quinn is 31. South Elgin. Thank you.
Bruce Smith.
Sorry, Jared. The sacks were nice, right? But our pressures were still low, like some of the lowest in the league. QB pressures.
Yeah.
It's wild, isn't it?
An anomaly. Yeah, it is crazy to think about that.
I mean,
and we were saying that since like the week 4 preview of this year too.
It's like we didn't hit for average with our pass rush; we hit for home runs.
Yeah.
From the looks of this list, you're going to get about 3 to 4 years after 30, and the numbers really drop off. I mean, the one anomaly looks to be Kevin Green, and Bruce Smith had 10 at age 37.
Jared Allen fell right the fuck off.
Yeah, he did. Sure. Reggie White had 16 when he was 37.
It's not many, though. You're talking the history of the game, man.
Chris Dolman had 15.
Yeah, it's not many at all.
That's it.
Right.
Ricky Jackson had 9.5. So, I mean, is it unheard of? No, but that's...
Pep played a long time, too.
Yeah, so the dead cap for Robert Quinn, if you were to move off of him, is 12.7. Khalil's is pretty much double that. And let's be honest, I mean, I can't even believe we're having this conversation, but from a trade value standpoint, coming off this season, do you dare to say that Robert Quinn has more trade value?
Khalil, I think, like I said, I wasn't. The sacks are a nice stat, but the effect on the game, I think Khalil has more.
I think if you put the two together for 3 years, if you can somehow keep them together for 3 years, 2 to 3 years, I think you'll see the pressures go up because what does Khalil do? He fucking collapses the pocket.
He takes up a lot of the salary, Jay.
He does take up a lot of the salary. I mean, I don't think he got much choice.
Inject some talent in that secondary, the pressures probably get a lot better as well.
It's a highly priced player to have on your team when you're potentially rebuilding. That's the problem. He's a guy that you have at that price on your team when you're close.
Yeah. And that's pretty much what that trade told you, is that they felt they got the quarterback right. They feel like they had the coach correct. And that was going to be the final piece that put them over the puzzle. I think now, as you're looking at it, I think you're correct.
They did it before they saw what he had.
Yeah, true. But I think that's how confident they were. That was always Ryan's thing.
That's why he's out the door.
True. Yeah, and I'm fucking thankful for that.
Oh my god, man.
Just AA retweeted from the pod show or pod handle that. I forget who it was. Yeah, he's during the show too. How rude.
Does he really see? All right, let me work my.
But it was actually a good one. Let me pull it up. So Matt Miller on April 30th, 2017 said a high-level executive, quote, Ryan Pace just got fired with this draft. Boy, how accurate.
Yeah, he did. We didn't believe it.
That was Lombardi, right? Or Miller?
Matt Miller put it out, but the executive was
ago, and everybody went hard in the paint on him.
Yes, you read the replies to that, and it's pretty fucking hilarious.
Talking about selling them bridges and
good times.
yeah, but even Lombardi said his jerseys will be at Filing's basement, and we got all freaking ripped up about that.
I'm lucky I only bought one.
I bought a knockoff, bro.
Well, me too. No, it definitely wasn't real.
So
now, if we had drafted Watson, oh yeah, I would have bought one in every color, authentic.
it's just funny. The older Bears fans were like, "We bought a knockoff. We knew we weren't spending
got enough
$80
experience in
on
this
an authentic."
shit show.
Right.
So okay, getting back a little bit back on track here with the off. So we covered Todd Bowles. We covered.
Look at Biscuit steering the ship. I like it.
We talked about. So let's go down to Nathaniel Hackett, Green Bay Packers current quarterback coach, offensive coordinator.
Buffalo Bills when things weren't good. Jacksonville.
Fuck Green Bay.
Coach down there.
The Jackson. So he was what OC in Jacksonville, right? Oh, the shades are coming on.
He was OC in Buffalo too.
He was OC in Buffalo too.
Under the same coach that went to Jacksonville after he got fired from Buffalo.
Oh, Doug Marrone.
Yes.
Dougie.
Moron.
I think he just got hired for the USFL, I believe, if I'm not mistaken.
Perfect.
He went from Jacksonville to work with Aaron Rodgers, and all of a sudden,
he's a prospect.
Aaron's spoken very, very highly of him. Does that carry?
Of course, he's not going to take a shit on him, man.
He's done this.
I don't know. Aaron Rodgers not the kind that just throws out compliments willy nilly now.
Yeah, he does, dude. He hyped up that last offensive coordinator and got him a head coaching job, didn't he? Didn't he go to the Giants and get fired?
Are you talking about Joe Philbin, who went to Ben or not McAdoo? No, you're talking about Joe Philbin.
It
went to Miami.
Yes, sorry.
Okay, yeah.
I thought
one of them fucking places.
Where did hold on. Where did McAdoo come from?
I thought McAdoo was the same thing.
I think you might be right about that. I think you might be right, but Joe Philbin was his boy.
Yeah.
Oh, how'd that go?
But I mean, okay. So then, are you out on Flores and McDaniels just because no Patriots coordinators ever succeeded? No, they're still. My point. He's saying that Hackett. How did that go with McAdoo and Philbin? So that automatically means that Hackett's not going to be good.
McDaniels went 11-5 with Castle, bro.
Boy, you make a lot of assumptions based on a statement.
Yeah, because you're implying something.
I asked, how did that go?
It didn't go well.
Didn't he go 11-5 with Matt Castle when Brady?
Yeah, and didn't he torpedo the Broncos for a couple of years too and make a lot of mistakes?
He made the playoffs with fucking.
No, that was Fox.
That was Fox.
Oh, yeah, good point.
But he did get the most out of Kyle Orton and Tim Tebow that one year together.
They started off 6-0 the first season. The second season, which the guy that played for them messed up, is when that Spygate shit happened. They were like 2-5 at the time.
What I'm saying is we can't necessarily predict his success based on past stops or other coaches that have come out of that system and not succeeded. That was my only thing.
He got Jimmy G paid. He got Brissett paid. He got Castle paid. It's not like these are guys that stepped in when Brady got hurt and things still ran well. Mac Jones. Right.
Systems matter. Everybody's like, oh, he's a system quarterback. Fuck yeah, he's a system quarterback.
He had a broken down Cam Newton. I'm sorry. I liked Cam when he was healthy. Cam was broken down.
He had nothing left. I don't fault him for that one. And the skill positions there were.
But it had to be found out. You had to find out about Cam.
That wasn't prime Cam Newton physically. That's all I'm saying.
Fuck no.
True. So, okay, sounds like you both are not high on Nathaniel Hackett whatsoever. Am I reading that correctly?
Packers?
Okay. Fuck. Next, Brian Dabble, Buffalo Bills offensive coordinator.
Packers offensive line coach?
Yeah, he's done a hell of a job this year.
Who is that? Who is the head of officiating?
You know what, though, Jay? If you
That's
watch
their best fucking player.
You watch the breakdown on how they do it right to that limit. there was a breakdown.
Adam Stenovich, who I have heard that if Hackett were to leave, he would be next in line to be OC there. They're apparently pretty high on him.
If you actually watch the film breakdown on what they do, they take it to that as far as they can. Their offensive line coach is pretty smart with teaching that shit.
Got a lot out of a lot of backups too. He's done a really good job there, I have to say. I agree.
And yes, Rodgers gets calls too. There's the Jordan rules.
Absolutely.
And Rodgers gets rid of the ball relatively quickly now under LaFleur. But
somebody's echoing. I am too now. Cool.
Is it me?
No, I don't know.
Okay. Brian Dable, offensive coordinator, Buffalo.
That is
He's fat and aggy.
Why we gotta be so corny about shit?
Because I run an account called Trubiscuits and Gravy. What are you expecting? You're expecting too much.
No, I know, but I've seen that already out there. It's like, that's like corny. Just to even start. We're gonna be little bitches and start coming up with nicknames for coaches that might not even want to be here. Like,
yeah. Have you ever seen our pod page? Come on. I'm just saying, is that like, really beyond us?
We're already being like negative and trying to set the dude up for failure. Come on, like,
dude, I don't think me calling him fat and aggy on this show is setting the man up.
I'm not talking about. It's not always about you, Biscuits,
dude. But it is.
Do you feel like you can?
I'm talking about what I've seen on Twitter.
On Twitter, yeah, okay.
Yeah,
well, that's where I pulled it from. Obviously, I didn't.
Right.
Do you feel like you can make Justin Fields a Josh Allen type? Yes or no?
Yeah.
I don't think he's got the arm of Josh Allen.
Well, I will say, yeah, Josh Allen's arm is stronger, but I don't think Justin Fields' arm strength is a problem by any means.
I think he has
he's got the arm strength.
He's probably top 8 in the league in arm strength.
Yeah, you can sell me on that from like 6 to 8 for sure. He can make every throw. I don't think that's the issue.
Physical gifts is not this kid's issue at all.
But Josh Allen is thicker. Pause.
Oh,
he's a bigger dude.
Yeah, he is.
Perfect time to plug in our Manscaped ad.
What Manscaped ad?
Jerry, that was your responsibility.
No.
All right, so here's the deal. I don't care about the ads because I know you're not gonna make shit. But Jared wants the ads, so I'm trying to be a team player here.
So Brian Dabble,
for every 10,000 downloads, you guys can split.
Hey man, I'm for it. If we can make it going. I don't give a fuck.
We're gonna be
you just don't want
podcast.
Do y'all really? Okay, y'all really want me to be negotiating anything for y'all?
What I'm saying, Jared,
yeah,
you can get it.
No, you don't.
Dude, country people, I have experience in real estate. They do not negotiate. It's either their way or the highway, and that shit usually always works. So, Jared, work that Indiana magic, baby.
Biscuits. What I'm saying is, who doesn't have a Manscaped code? I'm just saying.
I've not used the lawnmower.
Raise his hands.
No, I'm just saying.
So you want free samples. You want to actually have to do a read every podcast so you can have a free sample when you can't buy this $50 razor, bro. It's much easier.
I'm just first off, I already have one, if you must know. Two, I'm just trying to get y'all's thoughts on Brian Dable, and we're now getting on to fucking Manscaped.
The head is moving.
We've now plugged them longer than what the actual read would have been.
We are giving listeners an inside secret executive meeting of the tailgate.
So secret, we didn't even know about it. Anyway.
South Elgin in the chat. I agree with you. Josh Allen has the best arm, but Justin Fields has a strong arm too. I
don't disagree, but do you run that offense with him? I don't know. Because you're going to get some semblance of it. It's a read option, power run with the quarterback.
Yeah.
Do you want to do that with Justin?
RPO, yeah.
And take advantage of him? Yes.
Take advantage of him, yes, but I'm also worried about he gets injured, his back gets hurt.
Well, hey, scared money don't make no money. You can't keep a tiger in the cage forever. Eventually, playing football carries inherent risk. I think.
Why you don't think that was one of the factors in drafting this kid? How explosive he is,
true.
his athleticism and speed is.
Yeah, it's like getting a sports car and never taking it like out on the road and really burning it. Pause.
Pony's all like emotional tonight. He's like, I don't want to see it's football, and he's saying I don't want to see him get hurt.
I don't want to see Justin get hurt. He's supposed to be our future, man. You got to
But
be
then-
smart with it, like Russell Wilson.
True. I mean, he
Russell
well-
gets hit like a motherfucker, bro.
Because his offensive
Well,
line sucks dick.
Because it's hard to
Russell-
block for his ass how long he holds the ball.
Russell does get hit in the backfield quite a bit, but I think maybe what Jared was alluding to in terms of his running ability, Russell Wilson is pretty smart about knowing when to get down and not taking contact. Jared, I don't know. if
All
that's
the
what-
way down.
Yeah. Yeah, Justin
Don't
does have
leave
a
your head up.
hesitancy when he slides, but
He's got that heads up baseball slide, not that low slide like Russ.
I think you have to unleash him, and if it happens, it happens, unfortunately. But not taking advantage of his skill set, I think.
So you would be in favor of a Daboll offense then, yes?
Yes, but I do think our run to pass balance would need to be a little bit higher than it is in Buffalo, just because we don't have a Stephon Diggs. We don't have a Emmanuel Sanders, Cole Beasley. We just have Darnell Mooney. So, like, I think it really needs to run heavy through Monty and Herbert. And yeah, you can work that power run and that RPO off of that. So
Okay.
sort of, but more a variation of it.
But dudes also shouldn't be diving when they see quarterback sliding.
True, but that's going to happen. You know that.
Okay, we're off of Daboll.
All right, Dable's done.
No,
So
Tom, I would. Sorry, I am actually not. I would take him. I would be fine with him and Shom. I think that they're both from Buffalo. They know each other. Like, dude's been with Billy Beans, or is it Bean? The GM from Buffalo.
oh, it's no, not Billy Bean. That's talking
That's
baseball
baseball. Damn.
now.
He's on that Billy Bean shit.
Brandon Bean.
Brandon,
Brandon Bean.
he's on that whole analytic vibe, right?
Yeah,
Brandon Bean, right?
yeah,
So he was in Carolina. Him and his Shom, right? They were together in Carolina too.
correct.
So
I mean, I think out of all the offensive names, I think he's the guy that I would lean to. Certainly over Leftwich, over Hackett.
I think Hope
and-
mentioned that pairing, didn't he? You guys listened to them,
Yeah, they did.
but
So leads you to the next name, last offensive guy, Doug Peterson.
nope, hard no.
I'm right there
I
with
think-
you.
I think we've seen enough fucking Illadelph / Andy Reid bullshit. Although your roster is still kind of built for it. But I don't think that's the long-term answer either.
He didn't look so swift without Frank Reich there.
No, he didn't.
It didn't look that good with Frank Reich there.
They won a Super
Look
Bowl
at the
with Frank Reich
Colts.
there.
They just got their ass fucking whooped by Jacksonville.
Jared,
I still
he won-
think
he won
Frank
a
Reich's a
Super
good
Bowl
coach,
right
though.
there. Yeah,
I don't disagree. I'm just saying. The whole is not as good as the sum of the parts. Or maybe the sum of the parts is not as good as the whole. God damn it.
Put it on a t-shirt.
we need to get that audio drop.
Yeah, because
Love
we've
it.
got a soundboard.
Not,
All right, I'm
Ooh.
on it. Ooh, was that a shot pony?
that was.
I'm on it, sir.
Aren't you the technical advisor on the show?
I do internets. That's it.
Oh, he does the internets on the online. Okay.
The Methernet.
Maybe we can contract Vartech to get in here and get us a soundboard.
They've already tried to get a hold of us today. It
I
looks like.
saw-
So you know what Jared's doing? He's trying to low key like get in my
Change.
head about we need to get a sponsor so we can upgrade our stuff.
I'm like a brain worm.
Well
I'm in your
played.
brain.
It's a slow play, Pony.
I don't do anything very fast, bro.
Jared, how's it going trying to upgrade people's equipment so far?
Yeah, we're struggling.
Ooh. And what's a shame is he's never going to hear that shot. That's
Nope.
the real shame of it. We're 59 minutes in. He's never going to hear that. So moving on, I think we all have a hard pass on Doug Peterson. Let's go through the defensive candidates. I think this is going to be unanimous, boys. Leslie Frazier. Defensive coordinator, Buffalo.
It's good defense. Could you run that scheme in Chicago?
No.
No, because the corners and the safeties are better.
One thing that I'll say about him is definitely not one of my choices, but I think you have seen a lot of individual defensive progression on that roster, specifically with Micah Hyde and Jordan Poyer. Gotten Tre'Davious White played at a high level before that injury. Lot of things to like there on defense, but again, my questions with him would be, can he? And he's well connected, but what's his offense going to look like?
It's tough, bro.
Yeah.
It gets ugly early.
No, I'm just saying Todd Bowles. Look at his first stint.
Yeah.
Frazier did coach at Minnesota, correct?
Robert Saleh for the Jets.
Yes, he did. Yep.
Do you think he learned anything from that? Didn't
Heidi Klum divorce him then?
Yeah, so
that went right over you guys' head.
I didn't hear what you said. I'm sorry. What?
Didn't Heidi Klum divorce Bowles when he was coaching the Jets? Wow. I always thought he looked like Seal.
Holy shit! I did not put that.
Wow.
I did not put that together.
Or.
Sorry.
No, the singer.
Yeah, I got that. But you all follow Butkus Stats on here, talking about guys like Bowles and Frazier. So
Jokes aren't even working tonight. You guys are like brutal.
Listen,
somebody's edible kicked way.
I took one of those super relaxing ones. So like you just got to say it maybe twice, and then it'll kick in for me.
I hate repeating jokes. So bad on air.
Anyway, so Butkus Stats, going back to Leslie Frazier and Todd Bowles. He put out this really awesome chart about head coaches, second chance head coaches.
Jared, make him the big screen.
The ones that typically, for the most part, is about 80%. Coaches who were less than 50% winning percentage on their first go around typically had a less than 50% winning percentage on their second time around, which would pretty much disclude going with Todd Bowles and Leslie Frazier if you're just looking at it from an analytics standpoint.
I think we should just keep it on him.
Yeah, that was really riveting. I didn't hear any of it. Can you say it again?
Trubisky and Gravy has left the chat. Anyway, so he put out this chart that just checked all of the head coaches, their first chances with their second chances. What did they end up doing? And typically, head coaches who finished with a sub 500 record on their first team typically had a sub 500 record on their second team. So it sort of lend credence to Jesus Christ.
Can't we just go on? Why?
Oh, sorry, that was Biscuits rap, but they didn't start singing yet.
Jesus Christ, what was that?
Freezing Glare asks, aren't they a 4-3 and we are a 3-4?
Yeah, that's a good point.
It's one number difference.
Yeah, I mean, you're playing nickel sub packages a lot of the time, so I don't know how big of an impact that would be. But what did they play in Minnesota? I think they played a 4-3 in Minnesota too, actually.
Well, I mean, you're not in your base package.
Only the base, fellas. Like we were running. You run 4-3 too. It's not.
Yeah, it's just a different. Who's the fourth?
Correct.
I mean, it's really not. We have enough versatility, I think, to at least change to it.
I don't disagree, and I think it might actually benefit this current roster. But as per usual, they won't make that move.
Now you put Quinn and Mack on the line.
Put them as your defensive ends, and then run.
That's a problem.
Yep.
South Elgin said he just looked at the chart. Don't look at it. Yeah.
No, I'm just saying. You put Mack with his hand in the dirt. Yeah, buddy.
Yeah.
Now you got him and Quinn firing off the edge.
Yeah, Robert played 4-3 in both Dallas and St. Louis when he was in.
Yes, set records in St. Louis. Set records.
Sorry, when you have Khalil outside linebacker, he's also dropping back in coverage.
Correct.
Right.
No.
You put both their hands in the dirt. That's where we want them.
Well, who would you put at the
I was-
outside linebacker then?
was
I mean,
gonna say,
obviously
then you're-
Roquan would obviously drop to the middle and stay in the middle, but who would be the outside linebackers? Would be Ogletree and
Ogletree's getting so old, bro.
well, for a couple of years, that's the way it'd have to be.
I could see
And
Ogletree
you're
playing
right.
on the
South
weak
Elgin's
side.
right again. Mac did run 4.3 with the Raiders.
Yeah,
you are
good
correct.
South
Yeah.
Elgin bringing the heat in the chat tonight. I love it.
Yes, I like that guy. Bonus points him.
But I don't know what
He
I
gets a
know.
star.
Tony approved.
Saying Snowden is irresponsible, but I think physically he could do it. I'm trying to think who else. Like
You can maybe get away with I was about to say Hunter Hillenmeyer for a second. With Alec Ogletree on the weak side, maybe. But you're looking to pretty much overhaul that position.
Yeah, that's a problem.
but I don't know. Do we have anybody on our roster that hasn't gotten a shot that might actually work in a 4-3?
So no to Iggy, no to Josh Woods. Christian Jones appears to be
Yeah, he's kind of up there.
I don't
There
think-
is this.
I don't think Sam Kamara is dropping back like that.
Travis is too big, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
you kind of take him out, and then you did get some production up the middle with a couple of guys alongside of Roquan late in the season. Kamara, maybe, I don't know.
I haven't looked at the. I mean,
I really don't see them doing that, but I mean,
I don't know either.
it's interesting. It's an interesting little chat.
It could be done.
Yeah, they can do anything they want.
Or is there a possibility Desai stays on, depending on who the next head
That's
coach
been
is?
the hot chatter lately.
What chatter?
There's chatter.
Boy, Jerry, you see your boy went and interviewed with the Panthers for a special teams coordinator?
Which boy?
Tabor.
He's the first year plus.
I knew that would get them all hot and bothered.
Well, the first year plus, we thought he sucked,
Yeah,
We
I have
hated
to
it.
agree. He really changed my perspective.
and
on him.
he's been the most consistent coach on the fucking squad.
I think that's absolutely fair to say.
In spite of his Clevelandness,
Brought stability to the kicking position, did he? What are you laughing
was
about?
actually
That's
a
why I'm
coach.
laughing
While
because we keep bringing up punters, kickers, and special team coordinators.
it just
Like,
keeps coming
that was
back.
such a
Welcome to
solid
Bears
part of our
football.
team.
And he's responsible for the longest punt return in Bears history.
Ooh.
That was his unit.
Yeah, I strictly remember Jakeem Grant was like, we wouldn't have done this if it wasn't for Chris Tabor. Best coach I've ever had.
I actually think he signed that when he did that
He
signing
did.
for Lee Icons.
Yeah.
He actually put that statement in the autograph. Thank
It's
you, Coach
actually
Tabor.
under.
This one's for you, Chris.
Thank you, Coach Tabor.
There it is. Oh, here we go. Snowden chat firing off.
Oh, South Elgin knows what gets Diddy going.
If we can ever develop Charles Snowden, I think he will be really good.
Come on, someone in the chat mentioned Tyler Bray. Get me going.
No, nobody's
Oh.
going to mention
He just got a tryout with somebody. Just saying.
tree out. Fucking tree out.
Well, it
Come
was
to the
the
tree
hype
out.
too. It was like, oh, there's nobody understands why he fell. He should have been what? What they saying, 4th round?
Who, Bray?
No, Snowden.
I was like, are we really going there? All right.
No, Snowden. Was
Yeah,
supposed to be a-
Snowden.
a
Yeah.
draftable guy. Like
100%.
I don't know. Who knows, man? I know that when we saw Thomas Graham out there, we wondered where the fuck was he all season. So who knows with the staff we just had in place? It was ridiculous. I want
Have we
everybody gone.
Okay. Oh, yeah. Okay, have we got through all the coaches yet?
Well, you were talking about the side, Jared. Like I kind of want everybody gone.
Oh, yeah.
The last two would be Todd Bowles, and we sort of briefly mentioned Dan Quinn, but those would be the last two guys on the list.
Dan Quinn has an interesting offense, but you just wonder how much of that they had a good offense at Atlanta. Of course, they had Julio.
He had Shanahan, bro.
Kyle Shanahan.
Yeah.
Well, I
but-
think what his point is that he brought in a good offensive
Right.
offensive mind. Then again, after Shanahan left, that offense really kind of took a dive,
Right.
and then his defense really
Injuries and
they never recovered from that Super Bowl. I don't know.
no. We haven't,
Oof.
in some ways.
Shot to the heart. But true.
We couldn't get
And
over the
Todd-
Packer hump. We couldn't get over all
I
that.
never recovered from that Atlanta Super Bowl either because that was the moment I'm like, I can't argue against Brady anymore.
Yes.
That one hurt.
Yeah, they had him down
swallow my
28-3.
pride on that one.
Beautiful day, gentlemen.
Fuck off. All right.
Todd
let's-
Bowles, who had a 38% winning percentage in 4 years with the Bucks. How are you feeling about Todd Bowles? I'm
That's
sorry.
the one you said looks like Seal, right?
Yeah, it's not.
Yeah.
It's not exciting,
Meant the Jets. Sorry.
but at the same time, if I'm going to say like got to give McDaniels another shot at head coach, why would I be totally opposed to Bowles? No, I think he.
Can you pair those two?
What is he? He's the highest defensive coordinator paid in the league, right?
I believe
Daniels
so.
and Bowles. Could you possibly package those two together?
No.
Okay.
Is Bowles going to take a lateral move?
I guess it really depends on what he thinks about the roster, but no, I doubt it.
I don't. I mean, we also heard a lot about how close Bowles and Nagy were.
Yeah, that's
Like,
true.
is he going to want to be the one
Oh,
that replaces his boy? Like that's like a child. Nagy knew him when he was a kid, right?
watch him hire Nagy as the offensive coordinator. Oh, I would die.
Just when you thought it was over. All right, so we move on to GM candidates.
Yeah, we're an hour and 11 minutes. Let's just bust through this shit.
All right, so let's run through them. First
We
one,
do 2.5 on a Monday. We go a little bit over an hour, and Jared's like all pissy.
No, I'm just saying. We've got to get through playoff pick 'em too.
all right.
We're making Pony talk too much tonight.
About shit that I don't care about. Just win, baby.
So, director of college scouting for the Indianapolis Colts, Morocco Brown. Let's go quick.
Yeah, I would take him.
Like him.
Yeah, seems
Like
to
him.
be a hot name. People in Washington really seem to like him as well. VP of football operations for the Cleveland Browns, Kwesi Adolfo-Mensa.
Nope.
Seems a little too young for me.
It's a lot of names.
Cleveland.
Too many names.
Cleveland.
We don't have people like that name around here in Indiana.
Settle down.
VP. Go ahead, Diddy.
I can't tell, but now you got me thinking. Like, okay, I always say no, not anything from Cleveland, but Belichick came from Cleveland.
Yeah, you can't. I
You
mean,
never know.
they've drafted pretty damn well the last couple of years.
So did Saban, though, too, right? So did that.
Huh?
That whole, yeah, Saban was part of that coaching group, too.
Oh, I thought you meant from drafting standpoint. Okay.
Oh, yeah. I thought you were talking about how he drafted.
I think you
He's
can
in
argue that
Miami.
they probably missed on the quarterback.
Yep.
Safe
Makes
to
all the
say that.
difference.
But they have brought in they've really done a good job with that offensive line. They've identified talent in the later rounds. Maybe. It still seems a little young, maybe. Yes. That's my number one guy as well, South Elgin.
Who's
Great
that?
choice. That would be assistant general manager Ed Dodds with the Indianapolis Colts. A very no-nonsense, seemingly very determined gentleman.
I like the idea of the look, like the tough guy, tough attitude. I don't know enough about him, but they seem to be very high on him.
How long has Ed Dodds been with the Colts?
That's a good question.
I know he's a guy who's rejected interviews also in the past.
Correct. But part of that too is Chris Ballard telling him, dude, don't fucking do it. Don't go there. Let me tell you all the dirty laundry there.
Well, look where he's coming. Ballard doesn't like the system here. He doesn't like how it's set up.
He's been with the Colts since 2017. He was assistant GM in 2018. And he's been that way.
So
ever
he's a
since.
young guy. He's not.
So, Biscuits, what you just said, though, what do you think Ballard's going to tell him about Chicago?
You don't want to go work for that clown show that is George and Ted.
And he said that with people.
Maybe.
In the past. Yeah, he's not going to let one of his guys go to something that. I mean, well,
If you're cutting Ted out,
They did do that, and that's what Ballard wanted. But are you cutting Ted out?
Well, I would say you would have to. You would have to be a person of your word in that case.
Then I hope someone like that comes in, Dodds, with a strong personality, and says, "I want a VP of player like football operations that knows football," and that's who I want to answer to. He can answer to you. And if you're that high on him, I just want that move forced so bad. I know it's a fantasy, but I just want the structure change, man.
Correct.
Interesting.
Who's with the Saints?
Dodds, evidently.
It's with the Seahawks and the Saints. He played a pretty
Was he?
integral role in
Legion
building
of
that
Boom.
Seahawks team. Yeah.
Interesting.
So
Interesting.
yeah, he's definitely my number one guy for sure. Sticking with the Browns, VP of player personnel, Glenn Cook. Does that do anything for you?
No.
Okay. Assistant general manager of the New Orleans Saints, Jeff Ireland. Are we ready to take the New Orleans dip again? And
He wasn't that impressive in Miami. Yeah.
he wasn't. He really wasn't.
No.
All right.
I'm good.
I think I'm good on that one too.
But let's tell a story. He was a ball boy for the Bears as a kid.
Oh.
No offense to Leslie Frazier either, but that's another, like, for me, strike against Leslie Frazier.
85.
Sort of unfair, but I just don't want to hear that shit anymore.
And now
being compared.
letters to George. Dear George,
Dude,
I was a ball boy. Well, I'm going to hire you as my GM.
Dude, that
I've got
hoodie
balls for
segment-
you to carry.
That hoodie segment you sent in the chat was so funny. All right, next, director of player personnel.
He did one today from a letter from Olin.
Did he? I haven't listened to it
I heard
yet.
it.
It's hilarious, bro.
We'll have to check that out.
Big
Yeah.
O from Honolulu.
Yeah.
Is that
then it's
really
like-
what he did?
I really like you to beep, 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 beep.
That's hilarious.
All right.
Director of player personnel, Ran Carthen, San Francisco 49ers.
Well, that's a good roster.
He's like Dobbs, man. He looks like he doesn't take any shit. And I kind of like that persona. Wasn't his dad a player too? Or a GM?
It's a good question. I do not have the scouting report on Ran Carthen.
I thought he had like a.
Well, I remember a Carthon playing for the Giants,
I think his dad was a player.
but I don't know if that's the same family.
Yeah, I'm not sure, man.
But yeah, I mean, look at that. Look at that roster.
Played for the University of Florida. Signed as an undrafted free agent with the Colts, 2004. Played 3 seasons with the Colts and the
Another fucking
Lions.
Colt. Listen to that.
How about that? Does not
Gotta-
mention anything about his father, did he?
I don't know.
Not on this here Wikipedia page.
Family life.
No section.
Get it.
Apparently, Rand Carthon does not have a family.
You always get the breakdown of everything: parents, where they're from. Like, it's funny.
Yeah, you're right. It's his father's Maurice Carthon, father, blah blah blah. Yeah, NFL running back.
Okay.
Good call.
I just remember hearing something about that, but I don't know much about him, to be honest.
I was
man.
about to say I barely know anything about him, but here's a really interesting name. The next one, former general manager Rick Smith of the Houston Texans.
That's my number one.
Brought in Watson, Hopkins, a lot of other talent there.
Yeah, Smith's my number one just because of the current setup. You need the guy that can run shit. That's the top of the mountain in the Bears organization as far as a football guy.
Yeah.
So guy like Smith, absolutely.
I don't think he would necessarily bow to the pressures above him either.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, he
like,
works for an
this is-
eccentric owner. You know, he's had experience dealing with that personality of an owner before.
I don't know that George is really eccentric as much as he's just dumb.
Well, no, I mean that's kind of what I mean. Like, if you can work under Bob McNair and handle that dynamic, I mean, handling George should be relatively easy at that point.
But when you have that's the guy that you answer to, and you're so far ahead of him, advanced in what he's running, it's not really a threat. It's just he's just going to take it to a meeting. He's just going to take notes basically and bring it to the board. This is what's going on, and the GM just spoke with me, and he's not going to do anything about anything unless he's told to. So, like,
Right.
for a GM to come in here, they know they're running the show, and to have that much responsibility. The fact that this is like this, and you brought in a young GM to try to handle all that, being the top football guy in an organization. Like, I think
Yeah.
if we're gonna reset, it might be better to do it with a really experienced dude.
And I mean, so his head coaching hires, I think we all would agree that Gary Kubiak was probably a pretty damn good hire. I mean, Gary
He's a pretty
Kubiak,
good offensive mind.
I think
good
Gary
offensive mind.
Kubiak had a pretty good run there in Houston.
And he had a
Wasn't-
good run in Minnesota, too.
Yeah, I mean, Gary Kubiak's not a bad coach. Wade Phillips, who took over part of the way for Gary Kubiak that year.
Right.
Bill O'Brien.
Yeah.
So sort of a mixed bag there with his head coaching hires.
The
Is
Bill
that
O'Brien stuff really fell apart when he started taking over GM.
when Rick Smith left, because of his wife.
Yeah, because you thought the trajectory. The trajectory of it all. I got my Invisalign in, so certain words are like. But you think that would you thought that was going to be better when he didn't have that much responsibility. You thought, okay, they found another good coach. It just
So the head coaching hires don't scare you away from Rick Smith. End of the day.
They weren't terrible. I mean, Houston. What has Houston done? I guess it's not like
Well, it really started falling apart when he fell away from the team.
they were a
Correct.
competitive team while he was there.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So he gets credit for that.
All right, so Jerry answered that question. All right, next, assistant general manager Joe. I'm going to butcher this. Schoen, Buffalo Bills.
If it's Dable, yeah.
So that's the pairing there.
Yeah, I think you want to try to. It seems like that seems to be the thing. Is you want to pair. All pair.
Oh, pair.
Oh, pair. God, I miss that show.
Yeah, fuck me too.
It's weird though. Like I have these. Like if it's
Good pull, Jer.
if it's Flores, I definitely want Dobbs. You know what I mean? Like
That would be a dream pairing. Out of all the names that have been thrown around, I think that would be my dream pairing. So
those
far.
pressers would be like, we're going to do this and you're going to like it, and us fans would be yes.
Oh, it would bring that attitude back that Pace and Nagy lacked. They were just like,
Yes, Daddy. Yes.
I agree, man.
Yeah, it's
All
like it's a football fan's heaven setup for pressers at least because they're just hard nosed, not going to take any shit.
True.
These next three, I think, are the most interesting names on the list. VP of Football, Business Admin, Omar Khan, Pittsburgh Steelers, who's rumored not to be taken over for Kevin Colbert. How do y'all feel about that one?
He's not taking over for the GM. He's not good enough to take over for the GM where he's at. I think if they were restructuring, he could handle being a vice president because that's more what he's been built for. I don't really know much about the scouting side with him. It seemed like some Steelers fans feel like he's more the financial guy.
Okay.
But he's a very bright mind, so I don't know. Do you guys know anything about his track record? As far as I don't know how involved he was in the draft.
I really.
Jer,
don't
I know
either.
you've done a deep dive onto Omar Khan, so give us the notes, Jer.
People are high on
Shaka.
him. People are high on him. He's coming from a team kind of.
Yeah,
like
I think
the
people are
Ravens, where
on him because of the Steeler, mystique a little bit.
yeah.
We all were like, we're all high on Tomlin too, and
VP of Football Operations, absolutely, no question.
yeah, GM making those decisions. I don't know. I mean,
But he could get like an assistant GM that basically is the GM under him.
let's look at that Pittsburgh situation though. You got a bad offensive line. You got a quarterback, an aging quarterback that held on a year too long. You do have receivers. You do have a running back. Your defense, it's okay at times, even though TJ Watt tied the sack record. A lot of teams scored points on him and ran on him pretty well. So, I mean, there's holes at Pittsburgh too.
You're talking about this 1 year that they
I mean, this 1 year is going to
In the
spill over.
playoffs, bro.
This
In a
1 year
bad
is going to
they're in
spill
the
over.
playoffs, Jared.
Yeah,
Come on, man. In a
we
bad
got into the
year.
playoffs last year.
I mean, to Jared's point, I mean they're coming up on Roethlisberger. They really haven't addressed that outside of Mason Rudolph. So I do think that situation is coming to
Oh,
really
Haskins, we don't
a
know.
pivotal point of dude. Stop,
We don't know.
bro. I think we know.
Okay, he's gotten a real fair shake in Pittsburgh.
He had
Well,
a
what
fair
about
shake
Washington?
in Washington and just blew it.
Doesn't mean he
on,
can't
man.
change, but
No, he can mature and grow for sure. But I don't. Vartek is back.
He's never gotten that second chance in his career, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, but so Khan is known as the cap guy, by the way, in Pittsburgh.
Right.
That's what he's referred to.
Right. So VP of football operations, and then what you could do is, because I believe like a guy like Elliot Wolf is actually a consultant technically for the Patriots, assistant GM would be a promotion for him.
Which is the next guy on the list, director of scouting, Elliot Wolf. We know he's been with the Packers, he's been with the Browns.
Or you can even keep Champ on as assistant GM.
yeah.
They're not going to restructure. It's such a fantasy, but man, I'd love it.
Elliot Wolf's interesting if you look at the buildup of that Cleveland team. Run heavy, good line, quarterback's a little suspect. You had stars at wide receiver.
Oh, you're talking about when he
And,
was
you know,
in Cleveland. Okay.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, interesting buildup.
For a long time, I think everybody thought, including a lot of people in Green Bay, that he was going to be the successor there before Gutekunst got hired.
Right.
And he's willing to stay on as a consultant for Bill, who's basically running the draft. So another team hasn't plucked him yet. We don't know, but it's been a hot name for years. I think if you bring McDaniels in with another pipe dream, if McDaniels is a guy, I wouldn't mind Wolf being the GM because they work together.
I definitely think Wolf increases your odds. I still think it's small odds, but you get Wolf in here. I think the McDaniels things maybe has a little bit more credence to it.
Oh, it would even be fine being McDaniels first and then Wolf.
I'd be fine with that too. Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Those pairings like Dable, however you say it, him and Schoen or whatever, Scone, however you say his name, Scone. Sounds delicious.
Scone.
Right.
Let's have some scones, boys.
Trust me, I know scones.
It's the pairing thing with Wolf.
Yes, you do.
Yeah. I know stones too.
And I think that's what you're seeing as you kind of go through the list. You see that's like, oh, well, this pair would make sense. These pairs would make sense.
Pauline has a Rolodex, I'll tell you that. I mean, I've been impressed with what he's put out there because you're looking at what other teams are who they're interviewing. Their lists don't seem as deep. I just hope it's not too deep where you're going to push yourself back when guys start plucking.
Yeah.
When other teams start plucking these guys, which is going to happen, I hope we're not too deep into a search because we think we're better than we are in all these candidates' eyes. Because
just to go on Con real quick, I pulled up the Steelers cap. They are 41 million under, and they have 43 contracted players right now.
So pretty damn good shape moving forward.
Good name. Could be a very useful person.
As a
is what you call
who are you talking about? Con?
Yep.
Is Cliff? I know Joey Lane came in with pace, but is Cliff still with the organization? Do you guys know? I mean, boom, there's your cap guy right there. So if you're hiring a general manager that maybe needs some help with the cap, I think Cliff's a great resource.
You see, look where we're at.
Yeah, but Cliff's not in charge of the cap anymore. It's Joey Lane. That was the guy that Pace brought in, and that Cliff took a step down away from the cap, and he had his boy Joey. So I'm just saying, if you're going with a GM who's maybe a better scout than he is on a salary cap background, maybe you're looking to bring Cliff back. Yeah, you remember for like 8, 9, 10 years, we always had our draft class signed before anybody else.
True.
We got shit done. We were usually always in pretty good cap shape with him.
That's true.
All right, so I think we all kind of agree that Elliot Wolf would work here.
with McDaniels.
with McDaniels.
Or with Flores,
or
right?
Flores. Yeah, or with Flores.
That's what you're saying.
I would rather have Dawes and Flores, but yeah, it's that Flores. That's the name, man. Like when the Houston job came open, I'm like, shit. If McDaniels isn't gonna put himself out there, Flores might be the hire. We're hearing Mayo now out of the blue.
Yeah.
But
Right.
I don't know. I think Flores becomes. He's one of those. He's the hottest candidate that we've heard so far. That's actually a reality. That's just the hype right now, and it seems like league wide. He's the number one guy. The hype came out. Everybody was shocked when he was like fired.
Yeah, I was a little surprised by that.
Right. So like, it's tough. Like you want to get the GM in there first, but if you feel this is the guy when you interview him,
well, I think you
what
said
do
it
you
the other day. Like, it's okay to hire the head coach first if it's one of the select few names that it's worth it to give him more say on who the general manager is. Not all candidates are the same like that.
and I would be okay with Wolf at that point.
There's a name at the head coaching spot that just kind of might have became available too from Houston.
David Culley.
No, he's talking about Love.
Oh, bro, that ship has sailed. Yeah, I could maybe see him coming back here as defensive coordinator.
Wouldn't that be hilarious though?
No, I think it'd be great for Roquan's career.
I was about to say that same exact fucking thing. Roquan in the middle of that Lovie Smith defense would be fucking phenomenal.
I don't know how Lovie would take a young, not hothead, but like intense head coach. I don't know if he's at that point in his career where he wants to be answering to some like younger guy with fire. You know,
dude,
what I mean?
I think Lovie can jive with anybody.
I don't know.
I think he's that type of dude, man.
Dude, I don't know.
He's got a beard.
Bro, he came up with Dungy.
He's
and then
got a beard.
He came up with nice, soft-spoken Dungy.
Yeah, I mean, he coexisted somewhat with Ron Rivera. Right, that idea kind of tanked like mid-thought process.
Exactly. So like you got somebody like Flores that's like,
Bob, get in here. You're the new defensive coordinator.
Yeah, Lovey's not. If Lovey gets a call to come to the Hallis Hall at 10 at night, that shit ain't happening.
No, probably not.
You know what I mean? Like,
I do think it's interesting that Houston did not mention him in that statement. They mentioned that they're letting go of Culley and the offensive coordinator, but Lovey was nowhere to be mentioned in that.
Lovey could be the head coach easily.
He might have a chance to stick there depending on who they're bringing in. That might be a package deal. He had that defense playing pretty well.
Yep.
For the talent level that was there.
Oh, if Deshaun Watson comes back for Lovey, like Lovey's never had a quarterback like him.
No.
So,
well,
I don't think
they're GM talk.
Well, do you think that they fired David Culley because Jared's so fucking over this?
You saw the message in the chat tonight. He's like, I don't give a fuck who we hire, just as long as we get somebody in here, and I'm freezing my ass off at the park in February celebrating a Super Bowl. I was like,
goddamn right.
He's gonna be a miserable prick tonight.
I'm pretty sure when you sent that message that, hey, 10:30 tonight, Jared was like, fuck. Had a Grateful Dead rerun I was going to watch.
No.
All right. We're going to wrap this up very quickly here. We've got one thing to do, and it's the pick'ems. And
Shout out AA. Shout out AA. Hey, here's the picks if you're not going to hear, buddy. Here are your picks.
Well, AA gave his picks too, so I'm going to read those off. So what we got, we'll do yours, and Jared, we'll go with you first.
All right.
Patriots, Bills.
Let's go Buffalo.
All right.
Are we picking who we want to win or who we think is going to win?
Yes.
So pick them.
However you want to do it. You professional.
Aaron Quinn. I'm very sorry because I really want Buffalo to win.
Oh, bro.
But I think Belichick has some magic in store for the playoffs. I think your boy McDaniels is very hungry. And I have New England taking that game by 6.
We're not doing points.
Oh, we're doing point spread?
No, sorry, I didn't get advance notice. I didn't get the rules.
Do you have the point spreads?
No.
I can.
Get them. Get the
I
fucking
think. Oh, I
points,
thought we were
Brad.
picking on
Just
the money
for-
line.
We're
I was
just
picking on the money
picking
line.
teams straight up, bro.
Straight up.
All right, I'm taking the Patriots. Myself.
All right. So I want the Patriots out because if McDaniel's going to be available, it's not going to be till they're done.
All right. So, are we picking who we want to win or who we think is going to win?
We
I
want
pick-
to win.
Oh well, I want the Bills to win,
Well, come on, man.
but I think the Patriots are going to.
Well, think that.
Is my
Hey.
reputation on the
Oh my
line?
God, this
I
is
need to know.
fun, bro. I'm picking teams that I know probably won't win. I don't give a shit.
Fine. I picked the Bears, going all the way. Super Bowl.
Your heart is do what your heart tells you. So your heart tells you Bills. All right. So
I'm gonna
all right.
go
Next
with
we got Jared
Sure.
Steelers Chiefs.
Oh, it's Chiefs by a lot.
All right.
Thanks for coming, Pittsburgh. You get to be massacred at Kansas City.
No, I don't think you should talk about Pittsburgh coming with Big Ben as their quarterback. We're good. All right. Biscuits.
Chiefs.
God, now I gotta go to the bathroom.
Oh man.
Oh.
What you alluded to it? I just busted the door. I just
All right.
busted the door down. Is what I did.
How about Raiders? Also, my picks for those, I picked the Bills and Chiefs also. So we're all lined up.
What
there,
A
and
pick?
A picked Bills Chiefs.
Okay.
All right. So now we got
Clean tailgate sweep.
Raiders Bengals.
Interesting game.
This one is an interesting game.
I think Cincinnati's going to have a tough time blocking up front. Give me the Raiders, and I can't believe I'm saying that. Vegas.
Biscuits.
I think we're gonna have the first disagreement here. I love what the Raiders have done, but I just don't see how that Raiders secondary keeps that Bengals offense in check. I'm taking the
Pressure,
Bengals.
pressure, pressure.
Yeah, it's gonna have to be.
I took the Bengals and A took the Raiders.
Ooh.
All right. So
Clearly, the smart two took the Bengals. Okay,
all right,
noted.
this one should be fun. Eagles versus Bucks.
Retreat. Go ahead, Jared.
What? No, go ahead. I'll let you have your moment in the sun here.
Full screen me.
Oh my god. No, don't. Really. Seniority rules on that one.
Can you give me the team names again, please?
There. I micro screened your ass.
Who dares take on Lord Brady and the
Oh,
Bucks?
God, it just has to be a straight up pick. We're not.
Let me
picking
tell
anything.
you, the sun will be high that day, gentlemen.
Jared,
Not
you
the
don't-
only
you got
one.
Bucks. So Jared, now you can.
I'm taking Lord Brady and the Bucks.
Oh,
I know
God.
it's a surprise, but they shall squeak by 22 points. Brady blowout. Book it.
And as a Bears fan, when
Scotty
we were
Miller's about to tear Philly up.
when we were the NFC Central, we hated the Bucks. So Biscuits, not only do I hate Brady, but I kind of hate the Bucks. So
I mean, the NFC Central was like forever ago. Are we still living in the NFC Central time? Are we moving forward?
The only player I liked on that old Bucks team was Allstott.
I'll stop.
I don't know. I like Derek.
And that's
Brooks,
because
bro.
I saw him at Purdue, and he was awesome there.
I like Derek
Actually,
Brooks.
I like John Lynch at that time too.
Speaking of running backs from the state of
Let me
Indiana,
finish real quick though.
Work done.
No, Dunn was from
Derek
Florida
Brooks.
State.
No, I'm saying he played for the Bucks.
Yeah, he's talking about Indiana player. For the Bucks.
Oh, my bad.
go ahead.
I forgot Indiana had a football team. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, the best Indiana player to come out of Indiana for the Bucks was Allstott. Wasn't he Purdue?
He's a Purdue guy.
Yeah, he was the best Indiana player to play for the Bucks. Who are you talking about, Jared?
Oh, the one that's going to run wild.
Who?
Jordan Howard for the Eagles.
Oh my god.
He's going to run wild for 25 yards.
There we go. There we go.
I knew I had to fuck with you a little bit.
So
The
you go
Eagles
for the
keep
Eagles.
that game close. I think that game's closer than you think. And it might take a Brady drive late, but I think the Bucks will win.
All right, since we're all extending our response on this particular game because Biscuits has to be all weird about Brady.
Open air.
It hurts to watch. It hurts to watch me watch.
I would be Brady's au pair.
It hurts to watch me watch Brady win.
Oh, accept him, my child.
No, it hurts for me to even think about Brady winning a game. So Jalen Hurts.
It hurts. I hurts myself today.
Get the fuck. You know what
Nope.
that is, ladies and gentlemen who are listening still in hour 2, which you're probably not. That is called a
Chair.
spite pick, ladies and gentlemen.
No,
That is a spite pick.
No, that was a 6-point game with them
Chair.
earlier this year. Yes.
Did me and A not want Hurts drafted here?
Yes.
Woof.
Okay, just saying. I actually like Hurts. I would like to see him succeed.
I still don't know what to make of him, if I'm being fair. Has
He's
a lot
fun-
of potential.
He's fun to watch, though. I will give him that.
That
No, it
Eagles
is.
team's gonna
is.
if that Eagles offensive line not dominates, but at least gets a stalemate on the Bucs defensive line, that game's gonna be close.
As a fan of the game,
Could
I
be.
want Brady and I want Rodgers out. So I'm picking Eagles.
There you go.
I've always maintained the Bucks are break glass in case of emergency, and I just feel like if there's between the two teams, who has a better chance of knocking out Rodgers? To me, it's Brady and the Bucks. So
This is your go-to team in the playoffs if the Bears aren't. Anywhere Brady is who you're voting for if the Bears are out of it. So I
That's
understand
correct.
where you're coming from because I feel that way about the Bills. I'd really like to see that city get a Super Bowl. They went through 4 in a row losing. My brother's a fan. I'd really like to see Buffalo take it.
I
My
would
team's
love
out.
to see Buffalo win it. I think they're a very deserving fan base. If it was the
I'm not-
Bills and
I'm not
Brady,
calling that, Jer. I'm just saying I'd like to see it.
I feel you.
if it was
You know
the
what I mean?
Bills and Brady in the Super Bowl and the Bills won, I would not even be that upset about it.
We're just doing
What
this.
sucks is
These
are my
pick'ems are as a
family.
fan, and as a fan of the game, I'd like to see Buffalo win.
What sucks are my brothers are all fans of the Vikings, so
That does suck. Well, my brother's a Packers fan, so I'm right there with you, Jer.
can't really root for them per se.
The Bills just feel like that underdog team. That would be a really nice story.
They have a definite easier path in the AFC. NFC is going to be a gauntlet.
Well, they got to get over that hump. You play Belichick 3 times.
I
Yep.
think that's going to be the big test.
Yeah,
I don't
so-
know if Tennessee. I mean, it played really, really well this year, but Tennessee being your 1 seed in that conference, it's obviously
They're getting Derrick Henry back.
All right,
Oh,
sorry to throw us
oh.
off on that. But
It's all right.
A did pick the Bucks. So now we got.
AA
40.
knows what's up.
I'm the only one that picked the Eagles, but that's I'm just really.
That's all right.
I'm
Spike
fanboying
pick.
out there. Yep.
Spike pick, ladies and gentlemen.
49ers versus Cowboys. This
Oh, this one I like.
could be interesting. This might be the best. This might. Be
This
the
is
best
the
matchup.
upset
I
special,
agree.
baby.
I think this is the best game of the weekend.
I think
This isn't
your
a Monday game, is it?
No, it's Cardinals Rams.
Okay.
Ugh. Ugh. Garbage.
Not really. I think it could be a good game.
That could be a good game.
This is the upset. This is where the lower seed takes out the higher seed. This is the
Uh-huh.
San Francisco
Ooh,
49ers.
really?
They're going to run the ball. You know why? Because that's what they do. You know who stops it? No fucking body. They could be a dark. I have a feeling
Wow.
Their OC is such
that
a bot.
could be your break glass in case of emergency team.
49ers matched up against the
Yes.
Packers. Yeah,
Oh,
Packers
are you
run
fucking
defense
kidding
is
me?
not good. That's a good point.
I have mad respect for
That's a
the
good point.
Niners OC. What's his name? McDaniel.
Yeah, Mike McDaniel.
Bro, he's like a Yale graduate that smokes a lot of weed.
Dude, that guy put off super Trespin vibes today.
No, but he's like a pothead version.
What did that tweet say? It was like, whoever hires him, you better have legal
legal
weed.
state, yeah.
He was like, seriously, I'm not
He's
joking.
like, hey guys, man, I'm just like designing place here, man.
Yeah, he definitely put off a vibe.
He's just like probably going in the back, token up, and just like coming up with that off the top of his dome, just like right in the best place ever with his like Yale degree, like freaking genius, just like
Sorry, he looks
tanking
like
the
Mark
shit.
Trespin, dude.
I know, but his vibe's funny. I'm saying, like, I've never seen
Probably like
I've never seen an NFL coach with that vibe where it's like, hey guys, like, yeah, man. Like, you think he's just gonna break out and be like, they got the best munchies in our practice facility, man. Like,
He's crunching the bag during the middle of team meetings.
smoke in the bathroom. Smoke in the bathroom.
it was just a funny vibe that he let off. I found it pretty entertaining. But So what do we got, guys? Who are we picking here? You got 49ers, Jerry?
Yes, I do.
All right, biscuits.
I'm gonna go with Big D. Pause. Shout out Barry.
I'm gonna tweet that. No, I'll put that. No, I'm not tweeting that. I'll put it in the chat for you.
Please don't.
8-bit Barry.
God. It's been a tumultuous 3 days of that shit.
When you came out with that 8-bit, dude, I downloaded the app real
Dude,
quick.
that-
Did that right away.
Yeah, so I'm driving, right? I'm in my truck and I'm driving down the road. Just got out of an appointment and I pull up my phone. I was at a stoplight and I'm looking at it. Light turns green. I start going. All of a sudden I scroll to it and I'm like, oh, thought I was gonna drive off the fucking road in laughter. Anyways, it's for the Patreon subscribers out there. Maybe we'll let you in on that.
I was saying we should charge a subscription for that. That chat's been pretty live this week, actually. But
Chad has been live.
yeah, man. So you're picking the Cowboys. I picked the Cowboys, and A picked the 49ers. I just think that,
Hey,
Whoa,
damn.
really?
yeah. I mean, I think the
Damn.
I think the Cowboys they're tough to deal with when they're firing on all cylinders, man. Like,
Diddy, you know, if you took Lord Brady and the Bucks, that we would be aligned on all of our picks so far.
He'll
can't
never
do it, bro.
it.
I'll never
Good
pick
boy.
the fucking Packers either. So,
Yeah, I like Dallas though too.
and dude, I've been wrong before, but I'm taking this from a fan's perspective of what I want to happen. So, like, if I was a betting man, sure, I'd probably change that, but I'm not. I don't bet on sports. I want to see the Eagles win. So,
There's one more left
There
for the
is.
Super Weekend.
this is the Monday night game: Cardinals versus Rams. What do you got, Jay?
Rams, Cardinals are Dunsville.
Is there any word y'all know on DeAndre? Is he not playing this week?
I have
Why,
no
why are
clue.
they, why are they Dunsville in your mind? I can't believe I just
They
said
just-
Dunsville.
Haven't looked too good.
They haven't looked good in weeks. They lost to the Saints convincingly.
Lost to the
Green.
49ers just recently.
Convincingly.
They've been sitting guys or anything?
No, they just suck.
So Hopkins is not available for the wild card game.
No. It's done, dude.
And JJ Watt's return is still up in the air.
Oh, they got him on the sideline for moral support, but dude, it's over.
And to be honest, I don't think Kyler Murray is entirely
No.
healthy. I mean, I know nobody is at this point in the year, but I think he's hurting a lot more than a lot of other guys right now.
Let's be honest. When we played
I
them,
didn't even look into this that deeply. So, but I'm going to stick with my pick because I'm a stubborn asshole.
Where were you taking the Cards?
Yeah, I'm taking
I'm gonna-
Cardinals.
I'm going to follow Jer.
A's
what did-
taking Cardinals.
I'm going to follow Jer and go with the Rams.
it's Rams. Although
think that's
Matt
the-
Stafford can Matt Stafford. We've seen
That-
that too.
Jer, you nailed it. That's the X factor right there. 'Cause
I
if
can't
he
vote.
throws them up a couple,
I can't vote for Stafford.
Buda Baker could take one to the house.
yeah.
That
don't
might
wanna-
be their only saving grace.
From a fan, I took this as a fan too. I just want to see Stafford lose.
Oh, he will. Don't worry. He will.
So me and A pick
Okay.
Cardinals. You guys,
I look
you
at it
guys are
again
rooting for
as-
Stafford. It's cool.
Well, no, not rooting for Stafford, but again, I'm looking at it as what team.
In order for them to win, Stafford has to have a good game.
That's
No.
not necessarily true. There's a lot of talent on that defense. They might not have played to the same level as they have in the past, but Aaron Donald and Jalen Ramsey have a chance to show.
Boy, and did you see what they did to Aaron Donald, San Francisco last week?
Yeah,
Ooh, brother. Let me
How
tell
many
you
first-
what.
how many first
That's why I
rounders on
like
that
San
O-line?
Francisco.
impressive.
How many first rounders on that
Couple.
O-line?
There's a few. There's one for sure.
Who's the
They're-
tackle? Who's the tackle from?
McGlinchey, Notre Dame.
Notre Dame. Who was this offensive line coach?
In
Huh,
college,
Notre
Harry?
Dame.
His name was Scapegoat, right?
Run
Harry?
game coordinator. Fuck you, Nagy.
All right, those
$15
are-
an hour story confirmer.
Speaking
Yeah.
of college coaches, Harbaugh is bringing guys in now, so
Yeah.
Yeah,
kind of
I think-
seems like that's scratch Harbaugh off your list, in my
Pipe
opinion.
dream. You haven't heard anything about Ryan Day either. I know we saw that. What was it? Offensive
He's brought
coordinator.
He's brought two guys.
Two
in.
guys.
Yeah.
So that pretty much eliminates him as well. Fartek, who you got? Rams,
What?
Cardinals.
Let me see if I'm seeing anything on the Twitter sphere because it's constantly evolving.
Okay.
No, I'm just saying, like we could have hired a coach already.
Sure. We got breaking news.
I'm joking. I don't think there's anything about this.
Wouldn't that be something?
Yeah, I don't know. I hope they, like I said, if right now my top guy would be Flores, that I've seen from the list. So I don't know if that's just what I'm feeling right now.
Do you feel like there's a possibility that they interview too many people and they miss out?
That's what we were talking about earlier. I hope they time it right.
Yeah,
But if it's somewhere where the candidate wants to be, they'll wait.
True.
So
I'm gonna take a note from Positivity Diddy. Like, I have been very happy with the names that I've heard on the GM side so far. A lot of good names.
If the guy you want the most doesn't want you back,
then it wasn't the guy.
He wasn't meant to be.
No, I'm just saying it has to work both ways, right? If the Bears are the top priority for that candidate, they'll wait.
True.
If the Bears aren't, they're going to go to another team.
Right on.
So It really depends. You're going to see, like, if Flores is high on Fields, he'll be patient. Hopefully he is, because that's my number one guy right now from who they've mentioned. Now
that's what I'm scared about now. The Giants in Houston.
We don't know who they haven't mentioned though. The guys that haven't been mentioned, there could be stuff that pops up that we're like, oh shit.
Yeah.
Like after the fact, we found out Bears interviewed this guy. So who knows? I just hope they make Jared, I understand what you're saying. I hope they make the right decision. The name isn't as important. It's fun to banter back and forth and pick your guy on Twitter and stuff. I just want them to get it right.
Yep.
Can I get your guys' tiered list later on in the thread? Thank you. Appreciate it.
It's for me. It's Flores and Dodds right now. That's the top for me. But I'd be happy with Dable and Shom or whatever his name is. I'd be happy with McDaniels and Wolf if that ever became an option. Those are my scenarios. Harbaugh, of course, but I just think that's a way out of the patch,
that's done.
Yeah.
All right.
I'm excited to find out, though, aren't you guys? I mean, at least there's anticipation of change, and I guess that's more than a bigger change than we thought we'd get. It's not the complete change we wanted, but it's bigger than I thought. I didn't think they would actually move on pace. So,
well, I think somebody, forget who it was, might have been Lemming, said that they had, it was Friday of next week was around about the time that we hired Pace on the last go around. So theoretically, maybe we're looking at another week before we know at least who the general manager is. Hypothetically.
Right.
We were told that the GM would move fast with the GM.
Yeah, someone said that, right? In New York, I believe.
And then I saw some shit emoji in the chat, and then like 10 seconds later, the news that the shit emoji was about was right.
Hey, I'm just glad we got A-Rob locked in for the next couple of years at
it's just been
salary.
It's been a wild offseason so far, but it's even more wild that the blog's been as red as he has. It's like,
hey man,
like coronavirus is really fucking things up.
Think about how we had to go in on Biggs before he got his shit together. Maybe Jeff gets his shit together and we get.
I don't see big shit because I went too hard and I went way too hard on Biggs. I got blocked.
We all did.
South Elgin nailed it for me, by the way. He's been with us in the chat all
blocked
night.
by Biggs?
No, I'm still not blocked. Honestly, I posted about his butt cheek photo, and I'm surprised I didn't catch the block. So I'm still good on Biggs. But yeah, South Elgin says he really wants Ed Dodds. Smith is his second on his list, and that's how it is for me. It's Ed Dodds and Rick Smith, 1A and 1B.
Biggs is a pro's pro. Like he just
He
totally
he
like didn't talk
stonewalled that
about it
shit.
and it went
Dead,
away.
dude, he dead stared the shit out of that. He's like, nope, not touching it. Silent. Honestly, it's a veteran move. It really is. Just don't say shit. It'll boil over. People will lose stamina on the jokes.
And here we are.
I got to give him credit on that one. So sorry, Biscuits. Who were you saying?
No, I was just saying, South Elgin, who's been with us in the chat all night, I agree with his top two. He says he really wants Ed Dodds, and Rick Smith is second on his list, and that for me is 1A and 1B. Those are my two top guys.
Oh, Rick Smith is my top GM. I was talking about pairings with coaches, but
Oh yeah. Well, for me,
Yeah,
it's
I'd
Ed
be-
Dodds and Brian Flores. I think you sold that very well earlier. I'm not sure who we're pairing with Rick Smith, but
I'd be fine Smith with Flores too.
I could see that as well. Yeah.
But
Yeah,
let's
all
hope they-
signs really. I just hope there's more names. I think that the potential pool of GM candidates is a lot better to me as of right now than the potential pool of head coach candidates. But then again, what are some of these names we don't know? Go ahead, Jerry.
The names we don't hear are the ones that worry me.
Ooh, the ones that worry you.
So what,
Yep.
what name seven?
Ooh.
What name seven brought it?
No,
forward
I'm
to?
just saying. I mean, that should be the one. If George goes off the reservation, those are the ones we should be worried about.
Sure, are there
I
any
don't
names, any names
No.
you've heard for other teams that you haven't heard for here that you're thinking that about?
No,
That's the thing.
I mean, but
For what this
like
cycle
we've
is, they're hitting all the
so far,
all-
yes, I
all
give
the
it that.
top
But
the top guys.
I just don't
Everyone
wa-
except for Kellen Moore and
Yeah.
Mayo would probably be the second hottest name that hasn't been mentioned with the Bears.
I just don't want to see fucking George goes off the reservation and be like, oh well, we like this guy, and not to listen to the council that's around him and pull a Ryan Pace.
You know
Mayo.
one name you haven't heard is Alex Van Pelt.
The
No,
one
you
thing
haven't.
The one thing I will say about Mayo, though, like the Tennessee's coach,
Goes good on a
Vrabel.
sandwich.
no, what I'm saying is Vrabel is a Belichick guy who's had success because he also played for Belichick. So Mayo did play for Belichick. So there could be a thought process there that Mayo may be the best guy because he was a player and then a coach. Like look how Vrabel worked out.
Shout out Vrabel.
Sure.
He is my coach of the year.
Well, we talk about all the guys that don't work on the
I
bench.
agree.
Right? The one guy that Vrabel was underbilled, but he was like a coach on the field. He like absorbed everything.
True. Probably, yeah, he's easily the most successful Belichick coach so far to date, for sure.
He's one of the few coaches that'll get out there and do the reps with the guys because he's big enough and strong enough to do it.
Mayo's the same way.
That counts.
Yeah, Mayo's what, like
So-
36, I think? Super young.
Yep, he was
I
a
mean,
good ball
that's-
player too, man.
Yep, that shit resonates with players more than they think. So
But
Yeah.
Flores did play in college, so he does come from he played at a high level.
Plus,
I guess they
Brownsville.
said he would have been in the NFL if it wasn't for his injury.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
But has he ever been carjacked?
stop.
I like anyway. Yeah, if anybody gets a chance, if you go on YouTube and just type in Brian Flores, that story that Miami did when they got him to
I
sell
really
him to
liked
the
it.
fan base, it was really well done. It was
Yeah, I
cool.
liked it.
His
I agree.
it's amazing the situation he was in to actually be an NFL head coach was a good story.
Well, I think you could see where it's why he is the person he is today.
Yeah.
Correct.
No nonsense, no bullshit. This is what you got to do, and do it.
You even saw how and I know that part wasn't really produced. His high school coach, it seemed like a pretty hard ass dude.
Yeah.
Yeah,
He like started like choking up when he's like he's like a son to me. Like I'm so proud of him.
right.
Like that emotion that he showed. This dude does reach people. You know
And
what I mean?
thriving
So-
in less ideal, uncomfortable circumstances as well. Going to that prep school, he even talked about that he wasn't ever fully comfortable there. But
I can't imagine why.
yeah,
Catholic school like that, the good Catholics surely treated him right.
But he's been a head coach, so he knows it.
Yeah.
He knows what he needs to change to make things right. So I really like him as a candidate, man. I'm surprised he's available.
Yeah.
I mean, you got to be getting through to your players when you're going to 8-game winning streak. What it wasn't 8-1 or something crazy like that.
Yeah, 8-1. And by all account, he lost the power struggle with Chris Greer, and apparently Chris Greer has endeared himself more to Stephen Ross.
There was a lot that happened there. They wanted him to
Yeah.
tank when he first got there. He wasn't about that bullshit.
Yeah.
He's no, that's not what we're doing. He wanted Herbert. They drafted Tua. Look how that would have played out.
Yeah. Yeah.
So then he's like, I want more say in the front office. And you're not in. This is bullshit. And they weren't having it. Like, look how it's like. Then he sees Herbert blow up, and he's struggling with Tua at times.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So finally, he's like, I want more say, and they chose a GM over him.
I think we have to also come to the reality that Tua is just simply not that good either. Despite the turnover and offensive coordinator. Just saying.
All right, boys. 2 hours. I think we killed it.
Like I said, you bring in Bill O'Brien.
Share
under
just
him.
saw the thread.
No, I mean that. I know it's not a popular
I'm
name.
just-
Bill O'Brien is thick-skinned enough to do it. He has respect for Flores.
No, I think you made a really great, like, serious. I've been thinking about that. You made a really good point in the thread that if you're going to bring in Brian Flores, you need to bring in those strong-willed coaches around him that can handle that personality 110%. It's a very, very good point.
And guys that have been with the Patriots they're used to that shit. So
Yeah.
We'll see how it plays out, man. Ultimately, I'm in Jair's camp. Ultimately, of just hope they get it right.
Hell
So-
yeah. That's what's
But-
up.
And I mean, imagine all the different material we're gonna get from now till Monday. So I'm sure we'll be back Monday
True.
kicking it.
Yeah.
Sure.
But
Hey.
at least we have content, man. Damn. Like
Yeah.
True. In soup we trust.
Soup.
Soup!
they should just make soup T-shirts.
We need to.
We're riding with Snoop.
I wonder
Soup.
if
I
it's
said
more of a
Snoop.
chicken noodle?
Riding-
Oh,
Instead-
you just get the
instead of riding with Snoop, riding with Snoop.
Campbell's soup jar. Yeah, the Campbell's soup can, but make it navy and orange.
There you go. All right,
Riding with
Jer.
Snoop.
You're our technical guy. Make that
Yeah,
happen.
graphic design, Jer.
Come on, Jer.
He'll do it in 8-bit. They have 8-bit apps, Jer, where you can actually make the 8-bit picture. You can just do that. Make it
Maybe
Sweet.
put berry on the soup can. Soup.
Comes with its own ladle.
All right. Well, that is just another episode of The Tailgate Show.
Oh God. Duh. Coaching search and GM search.
Oh, the end of the show. Hallelujah.
The ladle.
Old
The
grumpy
just win, baby. The ladle. That's it. The
Old
ladle.
grumpy bastard, you.
Hey,
I
shit out.
am.
Hey. Thanks for listening, man. Love
Yeah,
you.
good
Miss you.
Appreciate you. Thanks
Love
for all
you
the
long
comments
time.
today.